I lay on the hospital bed waiting for chemotherapy while my husband, Chen Ji, was flirting with his fourth lover. When I called, he laughed casually. Sheng Xia, you went to such lengths to find me, and you're telling lies like this. I weakly denied. No, is it that dull? Plain water wife of yours again. Stop wasting time with her. Come and see if my new dress looks good. A charming female voice came through the phone, sounding bright and clear, and Chen Ji quickly hung up. I stared blankly at the darkening screen, speechless. After a long time, the screen lit up again. A message from my mother popped up. Xia Xia, your sister has caught a cold, and mom can't leave right now. She'll come to see you the day after tomorrow. I weakly let go of my hand, and my phone slipped through my palm. Having lived for 42 years, I ended up in such a ridiculous situation. When I opened my eyes again, I returned to the summer of 20 years ago. Sheng Xia, what's wrong with you? Wake up quickly. I suddenly opened my eyes and was momentarily stunned by the beautiful girl in front of me, my roommate, Jiang Mingzhu. But wait, why does she look so young? But hasn't she already passed away? Her husband, who had been living off her and raising a love child behind her back, jumped off from the 20th floor with her. The vibrant and bright girl fell like a lifeless butterfly, plummeting into the desolation of autumn. Just a month after I was diagnosed with cancer. Pearl, what's wrong with you? Seeing my complexion was off, she gently wiped the cold sweat from my forehead. Did you have a nightmare? You were punching and kicking. It scared me. Yes. I had a nightmare, I answered perfunctorily, surveying the old-fashioned decor around me. My heart suddenly skipped a beat. This is my university dormitory. The calendar on the wall clearly stated, September 24th, 2000. I've actually returned to 20 years ago. Hey, stop daydreaming. The nap is over. It's time to go to the library. Aren't you preparing for the postgraduate entrance exam? Oh, I'm on my way. I rubbed my face, crawled out of bed, and groggily walked to the bathroom. As cold water splashed on my face, I finally woke up completely. I have really gone back to the past. This year, I am a senior in college, preparing for the graduate entrance exam. After studying day and night, I successfully passed the exam and gained admission to graduate school. However, just a month before the start of graduate school, my mother was diagnosed with uterine fibroids and needed a large sum of money for surgery. My father went out to borrow money, but never returned. My younger siblings are still in school. My mother bled continuously, unable to sleep through the nights due to the pain. She took a lot of medicine, but nothing worked, and her complexion grew grayer by the day. I had no choice but to give up on pursuing further studies and use the tuition money I had saved from working hard to pay for her surgery. Even so, there was still a significant shortfall. For this money, I turned to my senior brother Chen Ji, who had always pursued me. At that time, he had just graduated for a year, and to help me raise this money, he begged everyone and survived on steamed buns and pickled vegetables for several months. Guilt and gratitude became heavy weights, firmly hanging around my neck, making it impossible for me to lift my head in front of him. The day he handed me the money, he clenched the envelope. Xia. This amount is not small. You won't be able to pay it back right away. What will I do if it delays my wedding? How about you marry me? This money can be considered my gift to mom. Okay, don't worry. I will take good care of you for the rest of my life. I was stunned, tongue-tied and unable to respond. He had been pursuing me, but I didn't like him and had rejected him several times. But now the envelope in his hand contained my mother's life, leaving no room for me to refuse. After my mother was discharged from the hospital, we got married. After working hard for several years and saving up some money, we started our business. With our own hands and feet, we fought our way from a small cosmetics counter to our own factory, and then to a listed company. From the cramped, dilapidated rental house to the spacious, bright grand villa, the days spent crying and sweating together are the ones that foster the deepest feelings. My initial gratitude towards him blossomed into fondness and attachment. But just as the tendrils of love had yet to reach out, A sudden thunderclap came crashing down. He cheated. According to him. It was just a drunken mishap. He begged me to forgive him. My mother also advised me. Xia xia. A woman must learn to be forgiving. Chen Ji has already knelt down and asked for your forgiveness. He was just momentarily confused. Think of all the things he did for you back then. That night's rain mixed with Chen Ji's tears, soaking the cuffs of my pants. I looked at this man who had gnawed on steamed buns for months for my sake. Recalling the side of his face as he exhaustedly slept on a bench outside the ward after my mother's successful surgery, my heart softened. But forgiveness is like the first ant hole in a dam. After the first drunken debauchery, there was a second instance of playing around. And even a third time of taking care of my sister Xingxin. The two of them have developed an unclear relationship. Thinking of Xingxin, I felt as if my heart had been stabbed sharply with a poison needle. The little girl who had followed me since childhood. Calling out Sister Hug in her soft, tender voice. Actually climbed into my brother-in-law's bed when I was busy, trying to sort out the factory's financial difficulties. When she was discovered, she curled up in Chen Ji's arms, with not a hint of shame on her face. Only a kind of almost innocent cruelty. Sister, brother-in-law said he's too tired and needs someone to understand him. You're busy all day like a man. When do you have time to care about him? At that moment, I was shaking with rage and slapped out. Only to be blocked by Chen Ji. He shielded Xingxian, frowning as he looked at me. Xingxia, calm down. Xian is still young and doesn't understand. Almost 30, and still a child. My heart turned cold at that moment. When my mother found out, she just cried persistently. Xia xia. Family shame should not be aired. Xian is your own sister. If this gets out, how can she face the world? Please. Mom begs you. Forgive her. My brother also stopped me. Sister, just let it go. If this kind of thing gets out, how can I hold my head high in the future? Besides, what second sister said also makes sense. My mind exploded with a bang. This is the family I have been protecting at all costs. For them, I sacrificed myself, bearing humiliation and burden. And this is how they treat me. Again and again. I endured until I pushed myself into the chemotherapy room, waiting for death to arrive in solitude. And Thami husband, my sister, my brother, my mother, are all living their own wonderful lives. What are you thinking about in the midsummer? You look frighteningly pale. Jiang Mingzhu touched my hand with concern. I came back to my senses, and the coolness of my fingertips touched her warm skin. A rush of reality flooding in. This isn't a dream. I've really come back. Cherry. I wiped my face and looked at the bright girl beside me who was tying her hair into a ponytail. Tell me, is it utterly foolish for someone to repay kindness with love and end up sacrificing their whole life for it? Jiang Mingzhu was taken aback for a moment, then vigorously nodded her head. Not just foolish. It's downright self-destructive. Kindness is kindness. Love is love. And life is life. How can they be mixed together? Her words were like a key. Click. Unlocking the rusted lock in my heart that had been there for years. Yes. Why should I use my entire life to repay a favor that has long since soured? I took a deep breath and gave Jiang Mingzhu a genuine smile. Mingzhu, thank you for waking me up. Jiang Mingzhu was taken aback for a moment but soon started to laugh. Why are you being so polite with me? Let's go. Or there won't be any space left in the library. I quickly kept pace with Jiang Mingzhu, walking along the familiar sycamore tree path, with September's sunlight filtering through the leaves, casting dappled light and shadow. Everything is still in time. Mingzhu. I looped my arm through hers. What are your plans after graduation? As for me, I'll work at my cousin's place. Her eyes sparkling. My cousin started a company and said I could work there after I graduate. I recalled my past life. Jiang Mingzhu came from a well-off family and was an only child, which had nurtured her innocent and carefree nature. She married a poor boy from the countryside and had a daughter after the wedding, never working again, misled by her husband's gentle and considerate facade. It wasn't until her parents suddenly passed away and she needed money to prepare the funeral that she discovered all the assets had been transferred away. And her husband had long had an illegitimate child outside. Her daughter was pushed down the stairs by the illegitimate child and she was slapped by her husband's mistress. The mother and daughter were forced into a desperate situation. Jiang Mingzhu is a simple and pretty girl, as well as a loving yet resolute mother. After her daughter recovered, she kidnapped her husband's mistress and son, forcing him to relinquish his assets for their daughter. She crippled the mistress and the illegitimate child, then dragged her husband to jump off a building. Mingzhu, listen to me. I stopped in my tracks and looked at her seriously. If one day you fall in love, you must remember, don't just look at how good he is to you, but find someone who is genuinely a good person. Also, never give up your future for anyone. She laughed at my serious tone. Shengxia, why are you so philosophical today? Did something happen to you? Just consider it a particularly long nightmare, I said, gripping her hand tightly. Promise me, remember what I just said. All right, I remember. She laughed and pulled me to keep moving forward. Let's go quickly. The library was so quiet that only the sound of turning pages and the rustling of pen against paper could be heard. I opened the book, but not a single word could I take in. My mother's matters weighed heavily on my heart. She loves me. When my father didn't want me to go to high school, she endured the blame and curses, working hard to support my education. The heavy labor bent her back. Girl, you study well. Mom will take care of you. When Chen Ji raised his hand against me, she stood in front of me without fear. What do you want to do to my daughter? But she doesn't love me that much. Among the 3 kids, I am forever the one who is abandoned. Sheng Xian and Sheng Wei are twins, a dragon and a phoenix, and have been the center of attention since birth. New clothes and snacks were never meant for me. My mother always said, your younger siblings are still small. As the big sister, you need to give way to them. It's as if I was born to yield. Yet I'm only 2 years older than them. When she supported my education, she said, if you do well in school and have a future, you can marry into a good family and help your younger siblings just like the daughter of Aunt Lu. She married a wealthy man and arranged jobs and bought houses for her brothers. But Aunt Lu's daughter's husband is even older than her father. Later, I gave her a lot of money, and with tears in her eyes she hugged me, saying, my daughter has really made it. I didn't raise you in vain. She left the money for her younger brother, gave love to her younger sister, but when it came to me, it was a heavy moral burden. Yet, I simply couldn't ignore her. At least, when she was seriously ill, I couldn't let go. Minju, I lowered my voice. Do you know of any side jobs that pay quickly? She looked at me in surprise. Haven't you always been tutoring? Not enough. I shook my head. I need more money. Jiang Mingzhu tilted her head in thought, and suddenly her eyes brightened. It seems my cousin's company is looking for part-time translators. He works in foreign trade and often has some English contracts and documents to handle. They pay per piece, and the remuneration is quite good. But the requirements are high. They're in need of people right now. And your English is pretty good, right? Want to give it a try? Translation. A thought stirred within me. In my past life, to expand overseas markets, I had self-taught business English on top of my existing knowledge and even obtained a senior interpretation certificate. Those complex contractual terms and industry jargon were already second nature to me. Mingzhu, could you help me get an introduction? I want to give it a shot. No problem. We've made plans to have dinner together in the evening. I'll ask for you then. Jiang Mingzhu readily agreed. I decided to give up on the postgraduate entrance exam. The next day, Jiang Mingzhu's cousin agreed to let me give it a try. And I found 2 more part-time jobs. Busy day and night. My roommates all said I had gone crazy. Is there something happening at home this summer? If you need money, just let us know. It's nothing, I said with a smile and a shake of my head. I just want to save a bit more money. I am preparing for my mother's illness. According to the timeline of my previous life, my mother's uterine fibroids would be discovered in July next year. I need to save enough money in advance to address the medical expenses. No longer owe any debts of gratitude. N. Slowly detach from familial bonds. When Chen-ji appeared, I was momentarily taken aback. In the busy half-month, all the painful entanglements from my past life were left behind. I've completely forgotten about him. Chen-ji is my senior by a year. Our first encounter was a chance collision in the hallway last year. The hot-blooded boys swung their arms and rushed out to play basketball. I was excited. Tally knocked down, and the books in my arms scattered all over the ground. Chen-ji was apologizing while helping me up, but when his gaze met mine, the apology words got stuck on his lips. The hand that was gripping my arm felt scorching hot. He said that I had crashed into his heart, but I could not feel such intense love for him, nor did I have the time and energy to cultivate any feelings. I rejected his pursuit. Yet he refused to give up, persistently bothering me. Now, a young man in his early 20s stands under the tree, wearing a clean white shirt. When he sees me, he joyfully lifts the corners of his lips, his handsome face radiating obvious delight. Finally, Summer. I've been waiting for you. I politely replied to him. Senior brother, is there something you need from me? Chen-ji lowered his eyes, a bitter expression spreading across his face. Is it not okay to seek you out if there's nothing going on? If you have nothing to discuss, then I'll take my leave. Wait a moment. Chen-ji blocked my way. Shengxia, I know you don't like me, but you can't keep avoiding me, not even giving me a chance to pursue you. It's too cruel for me. Senior brother, stop wasting your time on me. I really don't like you. And there won't be any good outcome for us. It has been verified through practice. Chen-ji's eyes darkened, yet he stubbornly stood his ground. I can wait for you, no matter how long it takes. Shengxia, it's okay that you don't like me now, but one day, you will surely be moved by me. That won't happen. I walked around him and continued forward. The early autumn breeze blew against my face, carrying a chill. Without the ties of grace, we will no longer be entangled. Unaware of my own resolve to not look back, I didn't notice that Chen-ji's gaze upon me grew increasingly profound. I held the translated materials and followed the address provided by Jiang Mingzhu's cousin. The last draft left the other party very satisfied, and they provided me with a complex English document, agreeing to deliver it to the company after it was translated. The company is located in a somewhat old office building, currently not very large, and the staff is few, but the growth momentum is strong. Jiang Mingzhu's cousin is named Xiao Lin, around 27 or 28 years old, wearing a crisp light gray shirt with the sleeves rolled up to his elbows, revealing his smoothly contoured forearms, as he was looking down at some documents. Upon hearing the knock on the door, he raised his head, revealing a face that was gentle and refined. Shengxia. He put down the pen in his hand, his voice gentle. Hello, Director Zhao. Here are the translated documents. I handed over the folder with both hands. Zhao Lin took it but didn't immediately open it. Instead, he gestured for me to sit in the chair opposite him. Mei Zhu has mentioned you. Your grades are at the top, and you receive scholarships every year. His tone was calm and unhurried. However, the materials we have here contain quite a few technical terms and commercial clauses, which are more complex than ordinary text. I understand. So I have additionally consulted relevant industry materials and a glossary to ensure accuracy. General Manager Zhao can take a look first. If there are any issues, I can make revisions immediately. Only then did he open the folder and begin to browse through it. The office was quiet, with only the faint sound of paper rustling. Sunlight filtered through the blinds, casting dappled light and shadow across his profile. About 5 minutes later, he closed the folder, lifted his gaze to me, and a faint yet genuine curve formed at the corner of his lips. Better than I imagined, he said appreciatively. Not only is the language precise, but you've also annotated some industry jargon and potential risk points in the contract terms. Do you have experience? My heart skipped a beat. Such an experience shouldn't occur in the height of summer. I carefully chose my words. I usually enjoy reading some business cases and original novels. So perhaps, I've thought about it a bit too much. Zhao Lin's gaze seemed to deepen for a moment, but he didn't press further, just nodded. The pearl has not overstated. This material is rather urgent. And I will have the finance department settle your compensation at the highest standard. Additionally, he paused. We really do need a reliable translator at this moment. Especially someone who can handle professional contracts and industry materials. Would you be willing to work with us long term? We can sign a non-disclosure agreement, and I can increase the pay a bit. Of course. I am willing. Thank you, General Zhao, for giving me this opportunity. I felt a surge of joy in my heart, unable to resist the curve of my lips. Good. Zhao Lin's lips curled slightly, revealing a faint smile that softened the contours of his entire face. He opened the drawer, took out an envelope, and pushed it over. This is the payment for this time, along with the material that needs to be translated for next time. The thickness of the envelope exceeded my expectations. Mr. Zhao, this is what you deserve. Zhao Lin seemed to sense my hesitations and explained in a calm tone. You helped us avoid a potential contract risk, and what we've saved is far more than this. Our company always pays based on ability, regardless of seniority. As he spoke, his gaze was sincere, devoid of any hint of condescension. Merely stating the facts. This made me feel a bit more relieved and added some fondness. In my past life navigating the world of business, I have seen too many hypocritical faces. Thank you, President Zhao. I didn't decline any further and carefully put away the envelope. Then I will take my leave now. I will complete the next set of materials as soon as possible. Don't worry. Zhao Lin stood up and walked around the desk. It's just noon. How about having lunch together? That girl Mingzhu keeps talking about you, and I should look after her a bit. This invitation was a bit sudden. I looked up at him. He seemed at ease, as if he were merely making a casual remark. No need to bother. Mr. Zhao, Stop calling me Mr. Zhao all the time. He chuckled, his tone gentle yet firm. You're a friend of Mingzhu, so just call me Brother Lin. There's a new restaurant downstairs that serves good food. Let's take it as a celebration of our successful first collaboration. His reasoning was spot on, and his open attitude made it hard to feel any aversion. I hesitated for a moment and nodded. Then I'll just obey. Zhao Lin Ge. Let's go. He grabbed the coat draped over the back of the chair, his movements swift and smooth. The restaurant had a refined atmosphere, and we chose a table by the window. Zhao Lin naturally took the menu, ordered a few signature dishes, and thoughtfully inquired about my tastes and dietary restrictions. During the wait for the dishes, he was not in a hurry to discuss work. Instead, he brought up Jiang Mingzhu. Mingzhu has been spoiled a bit by my aunt and uncle, so she's somewhat naive and lacks subtlety. She must have suffered some setbacks at school. Right. His tone carried a sense of brotherly helplessness and indulgence. Meizhu is very kind and sincere, I said objectively. A true friend is one who understands you. She is quite popular. Zhao Lin nodded, his gaze resting on my face, with a hint of inquiry. She mentioned that you've changed a lot recently, working hard to earn money, and even considering giving up on the postgraduate entrance exams. Has something happened at home? If you need any help, feel free to talk about it. I felt a tightness in my chest. Zhao Lin seemed gentle and reserved, with no hint of sharpness about him. Yet his eyes were shrewd and astute. Nothing. I shook my head, carefully choosing my words. I just want to work and earn some money first, and maybe pursue further studies later when the opportunity arises. I see. Zhao Lin's long fingers caressed the edge of the white porcelain teacup, his expression gentle. He then shifted the conversation to the future development direction of the company and the types of translations that might be needed, which covered a wide range. It is evident that Zhao Lin has big ambitions. If you have time, you can learn more about this area. If you're interested, you're welcome to join us after graduation. This is almost a clear job offer. Thank you, Brother Lin. I will consider it seriously. Zhao Lin smiled. The meal was served, and we ate in silence. His dining etiquette was excellent. He spoke little, but never let the atmosphere go cold. I gradually relaxed. On the way back, I couldn't help but feel puzzled. After graduating in my past life, Jiang Mingzhu and I went our separate ways. Not seeing each other for a whole 20 years. Our reunion happened in the hospital, where I was picking up my test results and Jiang Mingzhu was accompanying her daughter who was hospitalized. After 20 years apart, I had never thought that this reunion would also mark the beginning of a farewell in death. Jiang Mingzhu, in her early 40s, had graying hair and a face lined with fine wrinkles, looking as aged and fragile as a dehydrated leaf. Weak and helpless, I had just been diagnosed with cancer. Beginning the countdown of my life in the painful torment, we sat together, sharing our experiences from the past 2 decades, weeping in each other's arms. The pent-up pain and grievances found a release, moistening each other's shoulders with tears. But if Xiao Lin were here, Jiang Mingzhu wouldn't be so alone and forlorn. We could feel that the relationship between the cousins was good. He wouldn't let Jiang Mingzhu fall into such a desperate situation. From his words, I could roughly deduce his business plan, which completely aligns with future development trends. He should achieve great success. Yet I have never heard his name. What exactly happened during this time? The afternoon sunlight danced through the gaps in the sycamore leaves. Playing on the old bench, I flipped through the new materials provided by Xiao Lin, my fingertips gliding over the complex technical terms, a sense of familiarity washing over me. In my past life, I had spent countless days and nights poring over these things to uncover the traps hidden within various agreements. Shengxia. Someone sat down in the empty seat beside me, their voice low. It was Chen Ji. It had been a week since he last came to find me, and I thought he had given up. He reached out and pressed down on the edge of the paper. Shengxia, let's talk. Senior brother. There's nothing to discuss between us. I've already made my feelings clear to you. Just a few words. I know you don't want to talk about relationships right now, but Shengxia, I heard you've been busy making money lately. Have you encountered any difficulties? I can help you. I'm fine. There's no difficulty. And I don't need your help. Chen Ji did not believe it. Then why did you give up on the graduate entrance exam? You've also taken several jobs, working day and night. How do you know all this? He had already graduated and was working. How could he know so much about my situation when he wasn't often at school? Chen Ji's expression stiffened. Is it from what your friend said? Who? Which friend? I had a vague speculation in my heart. It's Bai Nianhuan. Right. She's my roommate and has inadvertently said quite a few good things about Chen Ji. Chen Ji's demeanor weakens. Shengxia, don't be angry. I just wanted to check on you. And since you're not talking to me, I asked her to find out. I've saved some money, and my parents sent me a bit too. If you need money, I can help you. No need. Chen Ji. Whether I give up on postgraduate entrance exams or focus on making money, it's just my personal life plan. And it doesn't concern you. How does it not concern me? Chen Ji leaned forward slightly, trying to catch my gaze. Shengxia, if you need money, just tell me. I can give it to you. The face in front of me is still young, filled with sincerity and stubbornness. But behind the sweet coating lies a bitter pill. Senior brother. I calmly interrupted him. Please don't inquire about me through anyone else. And don't come looking for me anymore. There's absolutely no possibility between us. I closed the documents and stood up. I have things to do, so I'll be leaving first. Shengxia. Chen Ji stood up as well, his voice tinged with a hint of urgency. Do you really hate me this much? You won't even be friends. I stopped in my tracks, turning my back to him. The afternoon breeze rustled through, accompanied by the dry rustling of the sycamore leaves. It's not hate. It's just unnecessary. There was no mistake in the beginning. Nor was there any need to continue entangled. Back at the dormitory, Bai Nianhuan was trying on a new dress in front of the mirror. A pink one that made her cheeks glow. Seeing me, her eyes flickered for a moment before breaking into a smile. Is Summer back? Did Chen Shixiang just leave? I saw him waiting for you for quite a while. I responded lightly. Senior Chen is such a good person. So handsome and thoughtful. And so devoted. Bai Nianhuan turned around in front of the mirror. If there were a man like that pursuing me, I would have definitely said yes by now. Sheng Xia, what are you really looking for? I put down what I was holding, turned around, and looked at her. Bai Nianhuan felt a bit uncomfortable under my gaze, tidying her hair. What's wrong? Nianhuan, I said calmly. You like Chen Ji? Right. Her face instantly turned red. What are you talking about? You don't need to deny it. If you like him, you can go after him. No need to beat around the bush with me, and certainly no need to tell him every little detail about my affairs. I walked in front of her, locking eyes with her flustered gaze. This is the first and last time. I don't like others interfering in my life. Nor do I appreciate being used as an excuse for someone to get close to the person they have feelings for. We're roommates. But there are some boundaries. I hope you can understand. Bai Nianhuan's face lost its color, biting her lip. Her eyes slightly reddened, as if she had suffered a great injustice. Sheng Xia, what do you mean by that? I kindly tried to set you up, and now it's my fault. How is senior brother Chen unworthy of you? I was only thinking of your good. I don't need this kind of good for me. I calmly stated. You know very well what it's all for. So please don't worry about me anymore. The shame and embarrassment of being exposed made her tears fall in streams. She shot me a fierce glare, grabbed the small bag on the table, and stormed out. In my previous life, Bai Nianhuan often spoke up for Chen Ji in front of me. The words hinted at my ignorance and pretentiousness. I'm not good with words. I want to argue but don't know how to say it. It was still Jiang Mingzhu who helped me refute her. Who you like and who you don't is a freedom of midsummer. Why do you need to concern yourself here like a busybody? It seems you're the one whose spring heart is stirred. Using midsummer as a pretense. At that time, Jiang Mingzhu always resembled a protective hen, standing in front of me. In this life, I want to draw these vague and uncomfortable boundaries clearly. Bai Nianhuan avoided me for several days, and the atmosphere in the dormitory was subtly stagnant. Jiang Mingzhu privately asked me, "Did you have a fight with Bai Nianhuan?" I noticed her eyes have been swollen for several days. I simplified things. Jiang Mingzhu pouted. I just knew her intentions weren't pure. The moment Chen Ji arrives, she's more attentive than anyone else. It's good you pointed that out. Saves her from pretending to be a good person in front of you. I smiled and didn't continue that topic. Being busy is the best medicine for all wandering thoughts. I devoted all my energy to translation work and 2 other part-time jobs. My schedule was completely packed. The compensation from Zhao Lin's company was very generous, far exceeding my expectations. With the income from the other part-time jobs, by the end of the year, I had saved quite a considerable amount. By next July, I would have enough for my mother's surgery. This reassured me quite a bit. As winter break approached, I called my mother. Xia Xia, Mom. It's me. I took a deep breath, trying hard to sound relaxed. How's your health? Are you feeling any discomfort? Shall I take you for a checkup? I wish I could check in advance. If the condition isn't too serious yet, maybe I wouldn't have to have surgery. I'm doing great. Why waste the money? My mother said again. Hey, if you have that money, remember to stop by the wholesale market next to the train station when you come back on holiday. Get your brother a pair of sports shoes. The brand name ones. All his friends have them. Also, your sister has been nagging about that snowflake cream for a long time. Bring back a couple of bottles. My heart felt like it was soaked in ice water, painfully cold. In my past life, such requests were quite common. I always scrimped and saved, trying my best to fulfill them. As if it was my innate responsibility as the eldest daughter. Mom, I interrupted her. Sneakers and snowflake cream aren't cheap. I have a heavy course load this year, and I'm busy with my part-time job. I haven't saved much money. Let my brother make do with his old shoes. And as for my sister's snowflake cream, she can buy it for herself once she starts working. There was a brief silence on the other end of the phone, as if she didn't expect me to refuse. Immediately, my mother raised her voice. Why are you such an ungrateful child? Your brother and sister are eagerly waiting. You are the eldest sister. You earn money but don't contribute to the family, only thinking of yourself. Lu Ant's eldest daughter built a new house for her family last year. Here we go with this same old argument again. I clenched the microphone tightly, my nails digging into my palm, bringing a slight sting. Mom. Lu Ant's eldest daughter married an old man older than her father. And the money she got was to build a house. Do you want me to take that path too? You. What are you talking about? Mother choked, her tone somewhat annoyed. Is that what I meant? I just want you to buy a few things for your younger siblings. You keep making excuses and talking back. I've raised you for so long for nothing. The familiar, heavy, suffocating pain in my chest surged up again. Mom. I got accepted into university. The tuition is covered by student loans. And my living expenses are earned from my own job. I remember everything you've given me, and I will pay you back in the future. But Shengxin and Shengwei are not my responsibility. I won't buy them such expensive things. With that, before my mother could react, I quickly added, Mom. I have something to do. I'll hang up now. I hung up the phone and leaned against the cold wall, letting out a long, deep sigh. Yet the feeling of heaviness in my heart was hard to shake off. Jiang Mingzhu noticed my low spirits and insisted on dragging me out for a shopping spree over the weekend, saying that spending can cure everything. Look at this sweater of yours. It's already pilling. And these pants have faded after washing. She pointed at my clothes. Come on. Sister is taking you to buy something new today, to celebrate your successful translation work. I was half dragged, half pulled to the busiest shopping street in the city. The winter sun was warm and gentle. And the street bustled with people, filled with the atmosphere of everyday life. Jiang Mingzhu couldn't take her eyes off a cream-colored cashmere coat and insisted that I try it on. In the midsummer, your skin is fair. You'll definitely look good in this. I couldn't refuse her and tried it on. The girl in the mirror had a slender figure. The cream-colored fabric made her complexion even cleaner. And the well-tailored coat outlined a hint of curve, looking much more spirited than the old clothes I had on. Looks good. Right. I told you. Jiang Mingzhu's eyes sparkled, and she immediately turned to get the ticket. I quickly stopped her and glanced at the price tag, feeling a jolt in my heart. The price was almost equivalent to my monthly living expenses. Mingzhu. It's too expensive. I really don't need it. You need it. How can you not need it? You're already half a working person now. You should have something decent to wear. Without giving me a chance to argue, she said, consider it a loan from me. You can pay me back when you hit it big. Okay. We were tugging when a gentle male voice came from behind us. Jiang Mingzhu. Shengxia. Both Jiang Mingzhu and I turned around at the same time to see Zhao Lin walking out of a men's clothing store, holding 2 paper bags. He was wearing a dark gray wool coat today, which accentuated his tall figure. With his striking features, he stood out remarkably in the bustling shopping mall. Cousin, Jiang Mingzhu exclaimed in surprise. What are you doing here? Zhao Lin approached, his gaze lingering on me for a moment before naturally shifting away to look at Jiang Mingzhu. I came to pick up the custom shirt. Are you out shopping? Yes. I brought Shengxia to buy clothes. Jiang Mingzhu linked her arm through mine, boasting. Cousin, look at this coat. Doesn't it look especially good on her? Zhao Lin's gaze fell on me again, this time lingering a bit longer. He nodded slightly, his tone calm. It suits you very well. My cheeks felt a bit warm as I subtly shifted my body. Thank you. Lin Gu. Meizhu insisted that I try it. But actually just buy it. Zhao Lin suddenly interjected, cutting off my words. He turned to the clerk and spoke in a usual tone. Please issue an invoice. I was taken aback. Lin Gu. There's no need. Consider it a year-end work bonus. Zhao Lin took the small receipt handed over by the clerk and looked at me, his gaze calm and undisturbed. The materials you've translated over the past few months have helped the company immensely, saving us a lot of time and potential costs. A coat isn't much at all. Mingzhu said you've been working hard lately, and you should treat yourself better. His words were reasonable, and his attitude was open and honest. making it impossible to find fault with him, and eliminating any awkwardness of being on the receiving end of charity. Jiang Mingzhu chimed in from the side. Exactly. Shengxia, you shouldn't decline. My cousin is notoriously stingy. It's not easy to get any reward from him. Zhao Lin glanced at her faintly, and Jiang Mingzhu immediately stuck out her tongue. I watched his long fingers pinching that small receipt, hesitated for a moment, and ultimately didn't refuse again. Then thank you. Lin Gu. Zhao Lin's lips curved slightly, seemingly pleased that I didn't continue with the pleasantries. He glanced at his watch and said, "It's almost noon. Would you like to have lunch together? I know a nice old restaurant nearby." Jiang Mingzhu immediately raised her hand. Great. I've been hungry for a while. We all went to the restaurant that Zhao Lin mentioned. The environment was serene and elegant, and the dishes were exquisite and delicious. Zhao Lin was very attentive, ordering dishes that catered to both my and Jiang Mingzhu's tastes. Creating a relaxed atmosphere at the table, Jiang Mingzhu chattered away about interesting stories from school, while Zhao Lin mostly listened quietly, occasionally asking a question. His gaze sometimes lingering on me, when I mentioned that I didn't plan to go home during the winter break and wanted to stay in the capital to find a short-term job. Zhao Lin's hand paused momentarily as he reached for the dishes. Aren't you going home for the new year? I want to save a bit more money, I replied vaguely. This is one reason among others. Back at home, there was my father comfortably lying down, my younger siblings playing around, and me, trying to work while listening to my mother venting her grievances. Even so, I remain the one who is ignored. These reasons make me feel ashamed. Saying them out loud feels like both complaining and begging for sympathy. Jiang Mingzhu looked at me with concern. Shengxia, don't push yourself too hard. Your health is important. Zhao Lin pondered for a moment and said, actually, there are some scattered translation and clerical tasks that need to be handled in the company before and after the new year. The office also needs someone to be on duty to answer calls. If you don't mind, you could work part-time at the company, paid daily, at a rate similar to that of formal employees. How does that sound? The environment is more stable than outside. This is undoubtedly a great opportunity. I nodded immediately. Of course I don't mind. Thanks, Brother Lin. No need to mention it. It's mutually beneficial. Zhao Lin smiled, his gaze gentle. Mingzhu always says you're independent and capable. It seems she wasn't exaggerating. Jiang Mingzhu proudly lifted her chin. Of course, my judgment is spot on. I glanced at her helplessly. My friends have a good eye. But when it comes to men, they really fall short. After dinner, Zhao Lin drove us back to school. The car stopped at the school gate. Just as I was about to push the door open to get out, Zhao Lin called out to me, Shengxia. Wait a moment. He took out a plain rectangular box from the glove compartment and handed it to me, saying, the risk point in the contract you highlighted last time pleased the client. And they've given an additional bonus. This is a token of appreciation. I hesitated and didn't reply immediately. Lin Gu, the payment has already been given. Besides, you just gifted me a piece of clothing. That doesn't seem appropriate. Just accept it, Zhao Lin said gently, but with an undeniable firmness in his tone. You helped the company avoid potential losses. This is what you deserve. It's nothing valuable, but it will help you in your work. Jiang Mingzhu leaned in curiously. What is it, cousin? You've even learned to give gifts now. Zhao Lin ignored her and just looked at me. I took the box, feeling its weight in my hands. At Zhao Lin's silent gesture, I opened the lid. Inside was a black fountain pen, its body smooth and sleek, glimmering with a subtle metallic sheen, with a small silver emblem on the cap. I noticed you often use an old fountain pen that doesn't write very smoothly, Zhao Lin said calmly, for translation and documentation. Having the right tools at hand is very important. My fingertips gently brushed against the cool body of the pen. In my past life, I used countless expensive branded pens, but in this life, I really only use a cheap old fountain pen, often running out of ink while writing. I didn't expect that he even noticed such a subtle detail. This brand is not cheap at all. Brother Lin. This is too precious. I can't accept it. It's just a tool, Zhao Lin said with a gentle smile. His eyes narrowing slightly. If you feel uncomfortable accepting it, then use it well for your work. Its value lies in what it can help you create. At this point, further refusal would just seem pretentious. I held the box close to my chest, my fingertips feeling the warm touch of the leather pen case. Thank you, Brother Lin. I will use it well. Zhao Lin nodded and said nothing more. When I returned to the dormitory, Bai Nianhuan was not there. Jiang Mingzhu couldn't wait to urge me to try on the new coat. Flipping that pen over and over again. My cousin seems aloof, but actually he's quite thoughtful. She propped her chin on her hand, pondering. He's never been this generous to the staff. Shengxia, do you think he might be? Don't make wild guesses. I interrupted her, carefully putting away the pen. Lin Gu said it's a work reward and tools. Oh, Jiang Mingzhu stretched out her tone, a mischievous light flashing in her eyes. Tools. Huh. Fine. But seriously, my cousin is 1,000 times better than that Chen Ji. If you were to. Mingzhu, I said, both amused and exasperated. Right now, I just want to make money. I have no time to think about anything else. That's the truth. The marriage in my past life felt like a long and painful chronic torture, draining me of all trust and hope for intimate relationships. Love. That's too luxurious and too dangerous. Right now, only the money in my hands can give me real security. As winter break began, most students left campus, and the dormitory buildings suddenly became empty and desolate. I went to Zhao Lin's company for my part-time job as scheduled. As the year-end approached, there were significantly fewer people in the office. Other than the administrative staff on duty and a few colleagues who were also staying in Beijing for projects, the entire floor was quite quiet. Zhao Lin seemed busier than usual, frequently going out, but he would always come back to the company every afternoon. Sometimes, he would stop by the small office I was temporarily using to check how my work was going, asking if I needed anything, and occasionally he would bring a box of snacks or a few cups of hot drinks to share with the colleagues who were still around. His attitude was always gentle and measured, maintaining the care that a superior shows to a capable employee, while also having a touch of natural camaraderie due to his relationship with Jiang Mingzhu. This made me feel quite comfortable, gradually letting go of the initial awkwardness. On the 28th day of the 12th lunar month, I received a call from my mother. Xia, when are you coming home? We haven't finished buying the New Year goods yet, and the house hasn't been cleaned either. Your dad is unreliable, and your younger siblings don't understand, so I can't manage alone. The mother's voice carried its usual weariness and an air of expectation. Mom, I can't come back. I got a job and can't get away. A job? What could be more important than the new year? The mother raised her voice. Not coming home for the new year. What kind of talk is that? When the neighbors ask, what am I supposed to say? Your Aunt Lou's daughter. This year she came back driving a little car, bringing a whole load of New Year's goods. That familiar, suffocating feeling of being stifled surged up again. I took a deep breath, trying to keep my tone steady. Mom, I'm different from her. I need this job. You can buy the New Year's goods yourselves. I've transferred 500 yuan to the account you gave me yesterday. That should be enough. There was silence on the other end for a few seconds. Then, my mother's voice softened, though still filled with dissatisfaction. Money is money, but a person doesn't return. Your younger siblings miss you. Miss me. Are you missing the gifts I brought? Or are you longing for this free labor of mine? I'm really busy. Mom, if there's nothing else, I'll hang up now. I still have work to do. Hey, wait. My mother urgently called out to me, her tone suddenly becoming cautious. Xia. You haven't encountered any trouble out there, have you? Why are you suddenly working so hard for money? Is it because you have a boyfriend? Let me tell you, don't follow those dubious examples. Girls should have self-respect. Money should be spent on the right things, and supporting the family is what really counts. My heart grew colder by the minute. Look, this is my mother. She may have a trace of concern, But more than that, there's scrutiny, suspicion, and endless demands and bindings. I don't have a boyfriend. The money I earn is my own hard work. Clean and clear. I interrupted her, speaking each word distinctly. Mom, I'm in my 20s. I know what I'm doing. I'm going to work now. Goodbye. I hung up the phone and leaned back in my chair, staring out at the winter's gray, hazy sky for a long time without moving, until a faint knock on the door interrupted my thoughts. Zhao Lin stood at the doorway, holding a brown paper envelope. He wasn't wearing a coat today. Just a light gray cashmere sweater, and his figure appeared even more tall and upright. Hope I'm not disturbing you, he said as he walked in, his gaze lingering on my face for a moment. No, Lin Gu, is there something you need? This document needs to be translated urgently. The client wants to see it tomorrow morning. He placed the folder on my desk. Is it a call from home? I was taken aback. Did he hear something? After a moment of hesitation, I gently replied with a Not very pleasant. He asked directly, but his tone was not offensive. It felt more like a natural question out of concern. I didn't know how to respond. It's hard to speak of family matters, especially the tangled grievances and helplessness. Zhao Lin seemed to sense my difficulty. He did not press further but simply turned around to pour a cup of hot water and placed it by my side. The end of the year is tough. Every family has its own difficult scripture to read. His voice was calm, carrying a reassuring strength. Sometimes maintaining an appropriate distance is good for both parties. I lifted my head and found myself locked in his serene gaze. There is no exploration, no judgment, only a kind of transparent understanding. How could he understand? Could someone like him, born into affluence, successful at a young age, and seemingly calm and restrained, ever be troubled by family matters? However, having known him for so long, I have never heard him mention his parents. Zhao Lin seemed to understand my confusion. He walked to the window, gazing at the bare tree branches outside. My parents separated when I was very young, each forming a new family. I grew up with my grandfather. During the holidays, both sides would call me over for a meal, and the conversation would always revolve around complaints about the other side, or concerns about my current situation. How are your grades? What are your plans for the future? Can you help out your half-siblings? I was taken aback, completely unprepared for him to bring this up on his own. I used to think that the excitement was for them, and I felt like an outsider. Zhao Lin turned around, leaning against the windowsill, the backlight making his features somewhat blurred. Later, my grandfather told me that blood ties are unbreakable, but emotional connections are nurtured. If you feel forced, it's better to take care of yourself first, to understand your own life. Once you have the capacity, then you can think about how to handle those complicated relationships. He paused, his gaze resting on my face. Shengxia, you are the most clear-headed and resilient girl I have ever seen. But sometimes, those who are too clear-headed can be more easily trapped by responsibility and emotional ties. Don't forget, first and foremost, you are yourself. His words cut like a knife, gently piercing through the hard shell of self-enclosure around my heart, exposing the bloody, unspoken weakness and confusion within. I worked hard, desperately trying to save enough money to cut the ties of gratitude I had with Chen Ji, and also attempted to no longer be a financial burden on my family, thinking that this would allow me to break free from my shackles. But deep down, I was still bound by the identities of daughter and sister, still yearning for that pure motherly love and the acknowledgement of family ties that I had never received. That's why, after receiving a call from my mother, my mood sank so low. My eyes felt warm, and I lowered my head. I sometimes just feel like I'm not doing well enough, not understanding enough, that the money I give isn't enough. That's why. You are already doing well. Zhao Lin walked back to the table, resting both hands on the edge, slightly leaning forward, his warm and clear eyes fixed on me. Shengxia, don't measure yourself by others' standards, whether it's family affection or romantic love. Neither can be obtained through begging or exchange. A stone suddenly dropped into the tranquil lake of my heart, creating ripples. The heating in the office was quite strong, and a thin layer of mist had formed on the window. Zhao Lin straightened up, his gaze shifting to the blurred street scene outside. My grandfather once told me that, in this life, the most important thing for a person is to live with understanding, to know what you want, what you can have, and what you should hold on to. He paused. I think, deep down, you actually understand quite well. You just need a little push to get yourself moving. Yes, I understand. I understand where the absurdity and regret of the past 42 years come from. I understand that in this life, I can never step into the same river again, but between understanding and doing, there lies a distance as vast as mountains and rivers, compounded by over 20 years of deeply rooted conditioning. After deciding to resist, my heart felt like it was bound by two threads, tugged from both sides, twisting in agonizing pain. Lin Gu. I raised my head, my voice a bit hoarse. Thank you for your words. Thank you for your pen. Thank you for this meal. Thank you for this. Just the right understanding and sense of proportion. Zhao Lin shook his head, said nothing, but simply pushed the urgent document back in front of me. No rush. Just finish it today. Tonight I'll treat you and Mingzhu to dinner. She's been nagging for days, saying she feels bad leaving you alone at the company to work overtime. His tone was light, cleverly shifting the topic and dispelling the rather heavy atmosphere in the air. All right. I smiled and opened the document folder. It was an English contract for the procurement of electronic components, with complex terms and a dense array of technical jargon. I took a deep breath, cleared my mind of distractions, and focused intently on my work. The pen glided across the paper. Indeed, the fountain pen that Zhao Lin gave me was incredibly smooth, with an even ink flow, making writing a delightful experience. When I finally proofread the last line and looked up, I saw that the city lights had started to twinkle outside. Zhao Lin was resting his coat on his arm and gently knocked twice on the door. Let's go. Mingzhu is getting anxious. If we don't hurry over, she'll accuse me of exploiting my employees. Okay. I'm on my way. I quickly packed my things and left the company with him. We walked side by side. Zhao Lin had a faint scent of cedar on him, fresh and clean, which calmed my mood as well. Jiang Mingzhu had made a reservation at a hot pot restaurant. It was steaming, full of the vibrant atmosphere of cooking. She had already ordered the dishes. The red oil was bubbling, and the aroma was enticing. If you don't come soon, I'm going to faint from hunger, she exclaimed dramatically, pounding the table. Shengxia, hurry and sit down. The beef tripe is ready for you. With steaming food in her stomach, Jiang Mingzhu chattered on about how she had been tortured at home for the past few days. My uncles and aunts, they really have nothing better to do than to introduce me to someone. My parents aren't even anxious, but they're so worked up they're about to steam from their heads. It's so annoying, and it's almost New Year already. Instead of busying themselves at home, they come over to our place every day, asking all sorts of questions, inquiring about where I'm going to work, and bragging about how successful someone in their family is. Honestly, who cares about these nonsense? I almost wish they'd grow a big sore on their mouths. I couldn't help but smile. It's wonderful. She is still so vibrant and full of life. Zhao Lin picked up a piece of greens for her, his tone helpless. During the New Year festivities, can't you keep your mouth in check? Jiang Mingzhu made a face at him, turning to me. Shengxia, you be the judge. Am I right or not? I nodded with a smile. Yes, what Mingzhu said is all right. On the 29th day of the 12th lunar month, there were only 2 people left in the large office area, Zhao Lin and me. He finished dealing with the last few documents and came out of the office. Pack up a bit. I'll take you back to school. No need to trouble yourself. Lin Gu, I can take the bus back by myself. On the way, Zhao Lin picked up the car keys and walked ahead, not allowing any refusal. The car drove smoothly along the winter street. The streetlights and the neon lights from the shops shone through the car window, casting flickering shadows on his profile. New Year's Eve. How do you plan to spend it? He suddenly asked. With a few classmates who stayed on campus. Aho. he replied, saying nothing more. As they neared the school gate, he gradually slowed the car to a stop. Here, take this. Zhao Lin handed over a red envelope, which felt thick to the touch. Brother Lin. This isn't right. You've already given me my salary and bonus. And quite generously too. It's not your salary. Zhao Lin looked at me, his gaze gentle. It's New Year's money. I was stunned. Accept it. It's not much. It's for you and Mingzhu. The corners of his lips curled slightly. A faint hint of a smile dancing in his eyes. Just for good luck. I hope that in the coming year, everything goes smoothly for you, and your wishes come true. His tone was so natural, as if this were truly just an ordinary New Year blessing, but my heart felt as if it had been gently bumped by something, a bittersweet swelling. In my previous life, after I came of age, I never received any lucky money again, during our first year of marriage. Chen Ji gave me a red envelope containing a brand new 100 yuan bill. After that, there was none anymore. He said, we're all adults now. Why bother with these superficial formalities? Money should be spent on what truly matters. Those necessities were his social obligations. The favors owed to his parents, the tuition for his younger siblings, and later on, gifts for his lover. As for me, it seemed I was automatically stripped of the qualifications to be pampered and blessed. Lin Gu. My throat had tightened a bit. Don't think too much. Zhao Lin gently placed the red envelope in my hand. Enjoy the new year. If there's nothing on, you can come to the office. The heating will be on. Warmer than the dormitory. You can read or do whatever you want. Of course. I have no objections if you want to work. I couldn't help but smile, though my eyes were a bit moist. Okay, thank you, Brother Lin. Go on. It's cold outside. I pushed open the car door, the cold wind whipping against my face, carrying a sharp chill. I hugged my backpack, which held the red envelopes and that pen, and glanced back one last time. Zhao Lin's car was still in place, under the dim glow of the streetlights. With the window rolled down halfway, he gave a slight nod in my direction, and then the car slowly pulled away, blending into the sparse traffic of New Year's Eve. Returning to the empty dormitory, I carefully opened the red envelope. Inside was a stack of brand new 100 yuan bills. I counted them. A full 1,000. That's too much. There was also a small card inside the envelope, with Zhao Lin's neat and upright handwriting on it. Happy New Year in the midsummer. May the road ahead be smooth, and may all your wishes come true. No signature. I run my fingers along the edge of the card, the vague emotions in my heart slowly settling down, transforming into a warm and solid strength. On New Year's Eve, the deafening sound of firecrackers outside intensifies the silence within. My mother called me, the background noisy with the laughter of my younger siblings and the sounds of the television. Xia xia. Have you eaten dumplings? Yes. Oh, all alone at school. It must be quiet, right? It's lively here. Your brother insists on setting off firecrackers, and your sister is fighting for the remote. It would be great if you were here to lend me a hand. There was a deliberately crafted liveliness in her tone, and a hint of imperceptible, perhaps even unacknowledged, boasting look at how united and lively we are here, while you are the one left out. Well, as long as you are having fun, I said calmly. My mother seemed momentarily taken aback by my calmness. After a pause, her voice dropped. Xia xia, are you still upset with me? Mom was anxious that day, and spoke too harshly. Mom isn't educated, doesn't know how to express herself. Don't take it to heart. The money you sent has been received. I've saved it for you as your dowry in the future. Mom, I interrupted her. That money is for you to buy New Year goods and to live on. No need to save it. I'm doing well here. Don't worry about me. Happy New Year. And please give my regards to Dad and my younger siblings. Having said that, I took the initiative to end the call, putting down the receiver. The subtle sense of loneliness that had sprung from New Year's Eve dissipated instead. Some warmth is a false prosperity, and some loneliness is a conscious choice. That red envelope lay quietly under my pillow, and I pulled out the greeting card. tracing the handwriting on it. What is he doing? Is he reuniting with family? Is he happy? Will he also be excluded by others? His penmanship is truly beautiful. He must have practiced calligraphy. Fountain pen. Fountain pen. Wait, where did that fountain pen go? I searched everywhere. On the table, under the bed, in my pockets, but it was nowhere to be found. It should have fallen at the company. I glanced at the clock. It was 9 o'clock. I'll go look for it tomorrow. I sat on the bed and flipped through a book for a while. My mind was so chaotic that I couldn't focus on anything. What if someone else picked it up tomorrow? No, no, no. Who would go to the office on the first day of the Lunar New Year? After 10 minutes, I sighed in resignation. Dressed and holding a flashlight, I made my way downstairs. The cold wind sliced across my face like a knife. The streets were deserted, with hardly any pedestrians. Rationality told me it was just a pen. If I lost it, I lost it. Zhao Lin wouldn't care, and I could buy another one. But it felt like there was a cat's claw scratching inside my heart. That pen was different. If I didn't go, I might lose more than just a pen. I took my flashlight and went upstairs, feeling around for a long time before I finally retrieved that pen from under the desk. I let out a sigh of relief. As I was about to leave and close the door, I suddenly noticed a glimmer of light coming from the crack of another room's door. It was Zhao Lin's office. How did he end up here? After hesitating for a moment, I knocked on the door. Brother Lin, are you there? No one answered. I knocked twice more. Lin Gu. There was silence inside the door, and panic surged in my heart as I suddenly pushed the door open. Zhao Lin lay on the ground, his face pale and his lips purplish. Lin Gu. Zhao Lin. I rushed over, my fingertips brushing against his neck. The pulse weak but still beating. He let out a muffled groan from his throat, his eyelids flickering a few times before he managed to open a slit, his gaze unfocused and nearly impossible to concentrate. I grabbed the phone on the table and called the emergency center. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. The doctor will be here soon. Just hang in there. The sound of the ambulance siren tore through the silence of New Year's Eve. In the hospital corridor, the smell of disinfectant was strong and pungent. I sat on the bench outside the emergency room, my hands and feet cold, unconsciously rubbing the pen in my pocket. Where are the patient's family? The nurse rushed out. I'm his friend. His family can't be reached for now. I hurriedly stood up. How is he? Severe acute allergic reaction, accompanied by laryngeal edema. The situation is very dangerous, but fortunately he was brought in soon enough. Allergy. What is he allergic to? I asked eagerly. Preliminary assessment is peanuts. The nurse spoke rapidly. Peanuts. I quickly recalled some fragments in my mind. When we eat together, Zhao Lin seems to never touch any dishes related to peanuts. Jiang Mingzhu seemed to have mentioned it too, saying her cousin has never been able to eat peanuts since childhood. Even the smell made him uncomfortable. It's peanuts, I immediately affirmed. He's allergic to peanuts. The nurse nodded. All right, we understand. The doctor is handling it now. You should go take care of the paperwork and pay the fees. I took the receipt, my palms slick with cold sweat. The red light in the emergency room blared brightly, like a knife hanging over my head. I cannot imagine what would have happened if I hadn't returned to the office tonight because of that pen. If he had fainted alone in the empty office building on New Year's Eve. A shiver ran through my mind. In a past life, Zhao Lin likely didn't survive this New Year's Eve. Thus, later on, Mingzhu found herself isolated and helpless, faced with her husband and his mistress like wolves, ultimately heading toward destruction. My heart feels like it's been struck hard by a heavy hammer, the pain so oppressive that it's almost impossible to breathe. It turns out, I have changed not just my fate. The door to the emergency room opened. The doctor came out, removing his mask, his face weary. Doctor, how is he? The delivery was timely. Now the vital signs are stable. He's been moved to the observation room. We'll keep him under observation for another night. And if everything is fine tomorrow, we can transfer him to a regular ward. I suddenly felt the tension in my nerves release. My legs turned to jelly, and I almost couldn't stand. I hurriedly leaned against the wall. Thank you, doctor. Thank you. You're welcome. Are you a family member? The patient is highly allergic to peanuts. Although the amount ingested this time wasn't large, the reaction was quite severe. You must be extremely careful in the future. He absolutely cannot come into contact with anything containing peanuts or peanut products. I nodded vigorously. I remember. Thank you. Zhao Lin was transferred to the observation room. He hadn't woken up yet. His face looked unusually pale under the lights, with faint shadows under his eyes. I pulled over a chair, sat by the bed, and quietly watched him. Gone were the usual warmth and composure, the calmness of the marketplace. At this moment, he appeared unusually thin and fragile, his breathing shallow, his brows slightly furrowed, as though his sleep was not peaceful. I noticed a faint, faded scar on the inner side of his left wrist, where he often wore his watch, as if it had been left there long ago. It felt as if something had lightly pricked my heart. I don't know how long it had been. When the sporadic sounds of firecrackers welcoming the new year drifted in from outside, muffled and distant, like echoes from another world, Zhao Lin's eyelashes twitched a few times on the bed, and he slowly opened his eyes. At first, his gaze was blank. After a few seconds, his focus gradually sharpened and settled on me standing by the bedside. He seemed somewhat confused, opening his mouth but making no sound, just swallowing dryly, his brow furrowing deeper from discomfort. Lin Ji, you're awake. I hurriedly bent over, my voice soft and low. Don't rush to speak. Your throat is just beginning to recover from the swelling. It might hurt a little. He blinked, his gaze slowly sweeping across the surrounding white walls and cold instruments, before finally resting back on my face with a silent question. You fainted at the company. It was an acute peanut allergy. You're fine now and are being observed at the hospital. Thank you. He finally produced a hoarse, weak voice, the two words spoken with great difficulty. Don't speak. The doctor said you need to rest and talk less. Zhao Lin obediently closed his mouth, merely gazing at me with those exceptionally deep eyes made even more profound by weakness. A small firework burst outside the window, its fleeting glow reflecting in his eyes, shining for a moment before fading away. I poured him some warm water and gently moistened his dry lips with a cotton swab. His gaze shifted slightly, as if he wanted to say something but swallowed it back, closing his eyes. Yet his lashes trembled faintly, clearly not asleep, just exhausted. He slept restlessly, occasionally raising his hand unconsciously to touch his throat, his brow furrowed. I gently soothed him, or held down the hand that was receiving the fore, fearing he would move and dislodge the needle. When the first faint gray light of dawn filtered through the curtains, the nurse came in to check on him. Zhao Lin had also awakened, looking somewhat better, though his complexion was still off. His eyes, however, were much clearer. Nothing serious. Just keep observing for another half day, and in the afternoon, you can be transferred to a regular ward. The nurse was recording the data. Just make sure to be careful from now on. This allergy of yours is not something to be taken lightly. Zhao Lin nodded, looking at me, his eyes filled with apology and gratitude. Thank you for your hard work. Staying up all night. I'm fine. I shook my head. But what about you? How did you end up eating peanuts? Zhao Lin was silent for a few seconds before slowly speaking, his voice still hoarse. Yesterday, my father asked me to go for the New Year's Eve dinner. I felt a bit stifled, so I left early. He handed me a package of snacks, saying it was hazelnut flaky pastry, and I didn't pay attention. I just took a bite. He spoke very calmly, but I could sense the undercurrents beneath that calmness. As a father, doesn't he know that his son is allergic to peanuts? If he knows, why isn't he sure whether this snack contains peanuts? This negligence is simply too careless, too chilling. I remembered the old scar on his wrist from last night, and my heart tightened slightly. Did you ever go through something like this before? Zhao Lin followed my gaze to look at his wrist. His expression unchanged. He just gently tugged at his sleeve to cover the mark. I had one when I was younger, but it wasn't as serious as this time. He paused for a moment, his tone even carrying a hint of barely noticeable self-mockery. This wound is from back then. I didn't know what to say. My words of comfort seemed pale. Lin Gu. From now on, if you don't want to go, you don't have to force yourself. Zhao Lin looked up at me, his gaze profound. After a long while, the corners of his lips curved slightly, a faint smile that seemed to dissipate some of the gloom between his brows. He responded quietly. On the morning of the second day of the Lunar New Year, the doctor examined Zhao Lin and confirmed that his condition was stable, transferring him to a regular ward. I went out to buy some light congee and side dishes. When I returned, I saw Zhao Lin half reclining at the head of the bed, staring blankly out the window. The sunlight fell on his pale face, giving off a sense of transparent fragility. Lin Gu. Have something to eat. He came back to his senses, took the bowl of congee I handed him, and his fingers accidentally brushed against mine. Cold as ice. Why are your hands so cold? I asked instinctively. It's nothing, just an old problem. He scooped a spoonful of congee, eating slowly, his movements graceful, but his appetite was clearly poor. Thank you really for last night. He put down the spoon, lifting his gaze to meet mine, his eyes regaining their usual clarity, though a lingering shadow of survival remained deep within. I'll take care of the medical bills later. The hospital room door was pushed open, and a well-dressed middle-aged man, who bore a slight resemblance to Zhao Lin, walked in, followed by a gently elegant lady. Is that Zhao Lin's parents? The man saw me and subtly furrowed his brows, his gaze sweeping over the sleeping Zhao Lin on the hospital bed before finally landing on me, scrutinizing. And you are? I stood up, not yet having the chance to respond, when Zhao Lin on the bed composed himself. Dad. Aunt Lin. It turned out that the lady was not his mother. Zhao's father took a few steps closer, his expression darkening. Peanut allergy. Again because of peanuts. How can you be so careless? There wasn't much concern in those words, more a sense of reproach and an impatience of you've gotten me into trouble again. Zhao Lin tugged at the corner of his mouth but said nothing. Beside them, Aunt Lin tugged at Zhao father's sleeve and spoke softly. Zhao Lin, how are you feeling now? Your dad is worried about you. As soon as he heard, he rushed over. About those snacks yesterday. It's my fault for not checking the ingredients carefully. It's not your fault. Zhao father interrupted her. He should have been more careful himself. Zhao's father admonished from a position of superiority. At your age, you should know the condition of your own body. Can't you take a moment to check before eating? Always making others worry. Zhao Lin lowered his eyelids, his long lashes casting a small shadow on his pale face, concealing the emotions hidden beneath. As I watched this scene, a sense of inexplicable frustration filled my heart. This is his family. When he had just taken a turn near the gates of hell and lay weakly on the hospital bed, there was no fear, no relief, only blame and the so-called worry. Aunt Lin seemed to sense the awkward atmosphere and took out a thermos from her handbag. Zhao Lin, Auntie has made you some soup. Drink it while it's hot. No, thank you, Aunt Lin. I just ate and I'm not hungry. Zhao Lin politely declined. Look at you. Always like this. Zhao's father wanted to say something more. Dad. Zhao Lin lifted his head, looking calmly at him. I'm tired and want to rest. You can go back to your work. I have someone to take care of me here. Zhao's father looked a bit troubled, but ultimately said nothing more. Aunt Lin put down the thermal food container and said a few more words about taking care of his health before pulling the visibly worried Zhao's father away. The hospital room door closed, shutting out the outside world. Zhao Lin closed his eyes again, his chest rising and falling slightly, his breathing a bit heavier than before. Lin Gu. I poured a cup of warm water and handed it over. Have some water. He opened his eyes, took the cup, his fingertips still icy cold. Sorry to make you laugh, he said softly. No. I shook my head. I understand. He glanced at me. After a long moment, he finally spoke slowly. his voice carrying a faint trace of weariness. Sometimes I feel that blood ties are the most unreasonable things. They give you a nominal home. Yet it seems like they never truly accept you. The sense of loneliness in these words was so heavy that it left a dryness in my heart. I think of the lonely self who died in a past life. Lin Gu, I said softly, Grandpa is right. Once you understand yourself and have the energy, then deal with those complicated relationships. At the very least, you're not alone right now. His fingers around the cup tightened slightly as he looked up at me. Sunlight streamed through the window, casting tiny flecks of light in his eyes. He softly replied, the corners of his lips finally curling into a genuine, small arc. Thank you. Regarding Mingzhu, should we tell her? Zhao Lin shook his head. No need. It's the new year. We don't want to scare her. It's not too late to talk after I get better and get discharged. He paused, looking at me. In the next few days, I might trouble you to stay a little longer. If you have other things to do, you don't have to force yourself. I can. I'm fine. I said immediately. I'll stay. He lowered his head, a subtle smile forming on his lips, and didn't say any more pleasantries. In the afternoon, Zhao Lin turned to look at the bleak winter scenery outside. Sunlight seeped through the gaps in the blinds, casting alternating light and shadow across the white bedsheet. He looked like a trapped beast in a cage, quietly licking its wounds. My eyes grew warm, and I gently called out, Brother Lin. He turned to look at me. The medical expenses you mentioned before. He tugged at his pale lips. After I'm discharged, I'll double the amount for. You don't have to give anything. I interrupted him. The one who saved you is not me. Zhao Lin looked at me in confusion. I took out that pen and the deflated red envelope from my pocket. I returned to the company to look for the pen you gave me. The medical expenses were the lucky money you offered me. Zhao Lin. It was you who gave me warmth and hope. Gave yourself a second life. The person who saved you is yourself. Zhao Lin stared blankly at me, the clarity in his eyes slowly gathering a thin sheen of tears. He turned his head away, awkwardly avoiding my gaze. The sunlight was slanting onto his profile, the tips of his slightly trembling eyelashes glimmering with a hint of moisture. But he quickly shut his eyes again. His Adam's apple moved with difficulty, and when he opened them once more, what lay beneath was a tranquil lake. In the midsummer, when I get discharged, shall we go see the plum blossoms? Sure, I replied softly, looking at his pale profile. On the day Zhao Lin was discharged, Jiang Mingzhu learned of the news. She immediately rushed over with her mother. Xiaolin, Ms. Zhao, Jiang Mingzhu's mother, appeared sharp and capable. How could you not tell me about such a big issue? How did you get allergic? Where are your parents? Have they come? Zhao Lin smiled helplessly. Aunt, don't worry. I'm fine now. What do you mean, fine? You almost died. Do you know that? If it weren't for Xingxia discovering it in time, you would have died on the last day of the year. Ms. Zhao was trembling with anger. What's this? Are they planning to treat you like the last, hard dish of the New Year's Eve dinner, and choke their own family member to death? Zhao Lin was taken aback for a moment, then helplessly rubbed his forehead. Aunt, Jiang Mingzhu's mother. Ms. Zhao Minghua, who is Zhao Lin's aunt, turned red around the eyes, stepped forward, and hugged her nephew tightly. Her voice choked. You child, so stubborn since you were young. If they don't care about you, can't you keep your distance? Why must you push yourself into discomfort? When something happens, who will feel sorry? It's still me, your aunt, who will be the one worried sick. Zhao Lin's body tensed slightly, then slowly relaxed as he hugged his aunt back and whispered, Got it, Auntie, there won't be a next time. Is there going to be a next time? Ms. Zhao raised her voice. There won't be a next time. I promise. Zhao Lin's earnest expression made Ms. Zhao's anger wane a little. Turning to look at me, her gaze instantly softened with gratitude. You must be Xingxia. Right. Good child. It's all thanks to you this time. Mingzhu talks about you at home every day, saying you're smart and understanding. 100 times better than she is. I really don't know how to thank you enough this time. Auntie, you're too kind. It was just a coincidence. I hurriedly replied. Coincidence. This is fate. It's also because you are so thoughtful. Ms. Zhao Minghua took my hand, not allowing for any disagreement. Come on. Let's go home with Auntie. I'll cook for you myself. And also help our little Lin calm down and regain his strength. So, after being discharged from the hospital, Zhao Lin and I were escorted back to the Jiang family by Jiang Mingzhu and her mother. After dinner, I gently declined Ms. Zhao's invitation to stay over while rubbing my full belly. Before leaving, I quietly remarked to the same Zhao Lin, who was also holding his stomach, that Ms. Zhao really was a master at raising pigs. After returning home, my mother called again, her voice tinged with barely concealed anger. What are you doing out there fooling around during summer, during the big new year, when you could be home? I'm confused. What are you talking about? I told you to work. What work? Mother's voice suddenly turned sharp, piercing through the receiver. Someone saw you. They said they saw you with a man. Even on the first day of the Lunar New Year. A man and a woman alone. What do you think you're doing? Do you have no shame? You've embarrassed both your dad and me. Sheng Xian's voice came through from the other end. Sister, how could you do something like this? No wonder you didn't buy us anything. You've been spending all your money on some wild man. Right. Come on. Sister, I'm your own little brother. I've had my eye on those sneakers for a long time. I don't care. If you spend money on others, you have to spend it on me too. I tightened my grip on the microphone, my fingers turning pale at the knuckles. Mom. My voice was unnaturally calm. So calm that even I found it strange. That man is my boss. I found him collapsed in the office when I was picking up things to take back to the company. He almost died. I called an ambulance, took him to the hospital, and stayed with him all night. Is that really what you call messing around and being shameless? There was an immediate silence on the other end of the line. Only the rough and unsteady sound of breathing could be heard. After several seconds, my mother's voice echoed again, noticeably weaker yet still laced with forced reproach. So, why didn't you say it earlier? You're a girl. Staying with a man for a whole night. How is that going to sound? What about your boss? Is he okay? Who covered the medical expenses? Did he thank you? I closed my eyes and took a deep breath. Who told you all this? My mother hesitated and said, it's just a man. Saying he's your senior. Saw you at the hospital. And came to check on you. Senior. Could it be Chen Ji? Sheng Xing snatched the phone. Sister, what kind of relationship do you have with this senior of yours? He showed up at our house bringing things for Mom and Dad out of the blue. Are you two involved? Mom said you'd even give up the family for a boss. I think the issue isn't the boss, but this senior. Right. You're straddling two boats, leaving him all confused. And here he is chasing after us during the new year. Sheng Xing. I interrupted her sharply. What nonsense are you talking about? I'm not talking nonsense. Senior brother Chen said it himself. He mentioned that you've changed a lot recently. Getting close to some men from society. He's worried you might go astray. And since he couldn't reach you, he came to ask about the situation at home. He brought so many things: cigarettes, alcohol, fruits, and even skincare products for me. How thoughtful of him. Sheng Xing's tone carried a twisted excitement, as if she had grasped onto a significant piece of leverage against me. Sis. You're really something. Usually pretending to be so refined and silent. But you've got quite a few tricks up your sleeve. I trembled with anger, not just from Sheng Xing's slander but also because of Chen Ji's lingering shadows and despicable tactics. I coldly replied, Sheng Xing. Listen carefully. Helping outsiders to belittle your sister won't make you seem noble. Rather, it will make people look down on you even more. What are you talking about? Clearly, it's you who's being careless. Give the phone to Mom. I raised my voice. Otherwise, I'll tell the whole family about you having a boyfriend outside. Sheng Xing secretly had a boyfriend in high school, and I had discovered it. At that time, she was so scared her face turned pale. begging me not to tell the family. The other end of the phone fell silent in an instant. And then my mother's confused voice emerged. Xin. What boyfriend? I heard Sheng Xian in a panic snatch the phone. Mom. Don't listen to her nonsense. Sis. You're going too far. Give the phone to Mom. I repeated, my voice cold and hard. A few seconds later, my mother's voice rang out again, laced with hesitation and more uncertainty. Xia. Is what Xin said true? Anne, what you just mentioned. What exactly is going on? That's Senior Chen. What did he say? Mom. I interrupted her, speaking each word clearly and slowly. Chen Ji is my senior from college. I have explicitly rejected his pursuit. Now he resorts to these tactics, spreading rumors and coming to our home to sow discord. Do you really think he cares about me? He's pressuring me into submission. I paused, feeling a deep exhaustion. And as for Sheng Xian and Sheng Wei, they're both 20 now, not children anymore. Others can casually say a few nice words and get them to slander their own sister. Mom, this is the good son and daughter you raised. How can you say such things about your brother and sister? My mother's voice rose again, filled with the shame of being confronted. Aren't they just worried about you? If you were truly upright and proper, what could others say? Why does Chen Ji come to you instead of looking for someone else? Isn't it because there's something wrong with you? Look, here it comes again. It's always my problem. The malice of others stems from my indiscretion, and the hurt from my family comes from my failures. The chill in my heart has spread to my limbs and bones. Mom, since you think my problems are so significant, from now on, you and my younger siblings don't need to worry about my matters. You all live your lives well, and I'll live mine. Just remember that I'll repay you for the money I spend from the family. And aside from that, let's not be in contact anymore. Shengxia, what are you talking about? I'm your mother. My mom screamed on the other end of the line. Just because you are my mom, I quietly said before hanging up. I leaned against the cold wall and slowly slid down to the ground. There was no excruciating heartache as expected. Only a dull numbness and the exhaustion after the dust had settled. So be it. This cut would have to be made sooner or later. The sooner it was done, the faster the wound might heal. No way. How could Chen Ji find my home? In my past life, he only came to my house after we got married. How would he know where my house is? I suddenly remembered that he had said he was saving money and that if I needed money, he could give it to me. How could he be so certain that I would need money? In my previous life at this time, he hardly had any money. All the money he earned was sent back home. Could it be that he also has been reborn? This thought sent a chill through my entire body. If Chen Ji has also been reborn, then all his unusual actions can be reasonably explained. He knows my weaknesses too well. The longing for familial ties will become the chains that bind me. So I will start from my home. I curled my lips in a cold sneer. Sure enough, the vile person was still the same after all this time. I took a glance at the bank book, and the numbers on it were what I had desperately saved over the past few months. Although it wasn't enough to cover the entire cost of my mother's surgery, it was still a considerable sum. Enough for me to confidently say no. Moreover, I had several months to prepare. I will no longer let myself fall into a state of isolation and helplessness where I have to beg others for help. As for Chen Ji, my eyes grew cold. If he wants to play, I will play along. The day before school starts, Zhao Lin invited me and Jiang Mingzhu for dinner, saying it was to formally thank me for my life-saving grace. The location chosen was a private dining restaurant, with a serene atmosphere. Zhao Lin looked much better, wearing a simple light-colored sweater with a dark overcoat on top. He still appeared graceful, but the layer of aloofness that seemed to linger between his brows was somewhat dissipated. When he looked at people, his gaze was gentler and more focused. Take a look and see what you want to eat. He first pushed the menu in front of me. Jiang Mingzhu leaned over. I want to eat this. And this. Cousin is treating. We have to feast properly. Zhao Lin glanced at her helplessly, but there was a smile of indulgence in his eyes. After ordering, he looked at me. Your complexion doesn't look too good. Are you feeling ill? Nothing much. I might just have a poor appetite lately. I paused for a moment, then spoke up. Lin Gu. There's something I might need to tell you. You can say it. My family might have some trouble. I briefly mentioned Chen Ji coming to my house and the possible rumors that could arise, omitting the speculation about rebirth, and simply stating that the other party, having failed in their pursuit, might harbor resentment and not act with honorable means. Jiang Mingzhu gritted her teeth in anger. This Chen Ji is just too disgusting. If he can't catch up, he throws mud, and even finds his way to your home. Is this something a decent person would do? Jiang Mingzhu rolled up her sleeves. Sheng Xia, don't be afraid. If he dares to come and stir up trouble, watch me tear his mouth apart. Zhao Lin asked bluntly after hearing this. Do you need help? I shook my head. Not for now. I can handle it. But Chen Ji's methods are low and I'm afraid it might implicate you. Zhao Lin had no expression on his face. Just then, the dishes were served. He picked up a piece of fish for me. Let's eat first. This steamed fish is their signature dish. You should try it. Okay, thank you. Brother Lin. Zhao Lin's hand, which was picking up food, paused, saying nothing. After finishing the meal, he took us back to school. When the car stopped at the school gate, he gave Jiang Mingzhu a glance. Jiang Mingzhu blinked and jumped out of the car first. You chat. I'll go in first. Only Zhao Lin and I were left in the car. He didn't speak, just slightly turned to the side, his gaze fixed on my face. That look was not as gentle as usual. It carried a calm intensity, as if he were trying to discern something carefully. I felt a bit uncomfortable under his stare. My fingertips involuntarily curled up. Lin Gu, is there anything else? I broke the silence. Zhao Lin withdrew his gaze and looked ahead at the dimly lit corridor illuminated by the streetlights, his long fingers lightly tapping on the steering wheel. Sheng Xia, he began, his voice a little lower than usual, sounding particularly clear in this enclosed space. You just said you're afraid of dragging me down. I nodded blankly. In the midsummer, what kind of person am I in your eyes? An employer who can only accept the benefits you bring but can't share even the slightest risk. Zhao Lin looked at me, his tone somewhat irritated, even carrying a vague sense of injustice that was hard to articulate. I spoke in a voice as small as a mosquito's. I didn't mean that. Then what do you mean? Zhao Lin's gaze returned to my face, no longer gentle or yielding, but instead carrying an almost scrutinizing intensity. Do you think that when I buy you clothes, give you pens, give you New Year's money, or even just now, when I served you food at the dinner table, it's merely the consideration of a boss for an employee? Or just care because of Mingzhu's sake? My heart skipped a beat, and my fingers instinctively tightened around the edge of my clothes. Sheng Xia, he interrupted me, his voice deepening, yet becoming clearer and more powerful, like a gentle stream rushing against the rocks. I am 27 this year, not 17. I know what I am doing, and I know what I want. He paused for a moment, as if weighing his words, or perhaps gathering a certain courage that was breaking through the ground. I admit, at first I noticed you because Mingzhu always mentioned you, saying you were smart and hardworking, so independent that it tugged at my heart. Later, when I looked at the materials you translated, they were clearly structured, with sharp insights, and you could spot risks that even the seasoned employees might overlook. I truly admire your abilities. Then later, I watched you, resembling a little sprout breaking through the earth, desperately taking root, striving to break free from constraints, unfurling in the warm sunlight and swaying in the breeze. In the heat of summer, I couldn't take my eyes off you. His gaze was intense, sending a warm current surging in my heart. I'm not a wooden puppet. I can distinguish between appreciation, sympathy, and a fluttering heart. When I woke up in the hospital and saw you, for the first time in my life, I thought New Year's Eve wasn't so bad. I thought, I want to celebrate it with you every year. You say I gave you warmth and hope, but it's actually you who gave me faith and strength. Outside the car window, passers-by occasionally walked by, their fleeting shadows dancing upon his refined profile. In the midsummer, we relied on each other, never burdening one another, and there's no need to mention it again in the future. Zhao Lin. I opened my mouth, but found my throat dry, unable to produce a complete sound. Zhao Lin's words were like an unexpected spring flood, instantly drowning my rationality's banks. A boiling, unfamiliar tide surged in my heart and throat, washing away the coldness of my past life and the bewilderment of the moment, leaving me on the brink of collapse. He looked at me, his expression caught in confusion, the sharpness in his eyes gradually mellowing into the usual softness. There's no need to answer me right now. He softened his tone. I was too hasty. It's just, I don't want us to be so polite with each other. His long fingers gently tapped on the steering wheel, an unconscious little gesture that revealed he wasn't as calm as he appeared. You don't have to bear it alone when it comes to Chen Ji. If needed, I can have a lawyer deal with the defamation and harassment. As for your family, he paused for a moment, as if searching for a more suitable way to express it. Whatever decision you make, I will be on your side. I understood what he meant. No matter what happened, he would be somewhere I could see when I turned back. Such a promise is more powerful than mere comfort. Thank you, Lin Gu. I finally found my voice again, though it was still a bit hoarse. I need some time. I need time to digest this sudden affection, and even more time to untangle the overgrown weeds of my heart. The wounds from my past life are too deep. I have almost forgotten how to trust in an intimate relationship, and I dare not believe that someone as good as Zhao Lin would belong to me. Of course. Zhao Lin nodded, seamlessly shifting the topic as if he hadn't just been the one pressing me. School starts tomorrow. The company isn't urgent. You focus on your school matters first. If you need anything, feel free to reach out to me. He got out of the car, walked around to my side, and opened the door for me. The chill of early spring night air still lingered, and he instinctively turned to shield me from the wind. Go in. Get some rest early. I took a few steps out, but couldn't help turning back. He was still standing by the car, the streetlight casting his tall figure long against the ground. Seeing me turn back, he waved his hand, the smile at the corner of his mouth standing out particularly clearly in the night. Back in the dorm, Jiang Mingzhu immediately approached like a little dog sniffing out gossip, her eyes shining with excitement. Shengxia. Did my cousin? Did he confess to you? My cheeks flushed, and I muttered, Don't talk nonsense. I'm not talking nonsense, Jiang Mingzhu said excitedly in a lowered voice. He took you aside, spoke to you alone, and looked so serious. I've never seen him wear that expression before. Come on, what did he say? I was at a loss under her relentless questioning and had no choice but to share a bit of what happened. Jiang Mingzhu finished listening and slapped her thigh. I knew it. My cousin might seem easygoing, but he's actually quite resolute. Once he sets his mind to something, not even 10 oxen could pull him back. In the height of summer, my cousin is 1,000 times better than that Chen Ji. No, it's simply not comparable. Chen Ji isn't even worthy to hold his shoes. The more she talked, the more excited she became, as if it was her own confession being made. You have to agree. You simply must. Why let good opportunities go to waste on outsiders? I couldn't help but laugh at her, and the chaotic feelings I had in my heart loosened a bit. It's not that simple. Mingzhu. I'm not ready yet. Jiang Mingzhu quieted down and carefully studied my expression, rarely speaking earnestly. Shengxia. I know you have something on your mind, but my cousin is different. He really is a good person, and the way he looks at you. She paused, seeming to search for the right words. It's like how grandfather looked at grandmother back in the day. A look of certainty, a lifetime commitment, a lifetime. That word sent a shiver through my heart. I will think about it seriously. I held Jiang Mingzhu's hand. Thank you, Mingzhu. After the new semester began, I found myself caught up in a busy routine. My mother called me again, her tone much softer this time. She didn't bring up Chen Ji or the unpleasant things again. She just chatted on and on about trivial matters at home, mentioning that my father had been having back pain recently. My younger siblings were going to repeat a year. And the family needed money. Listening to the careful flattery and the unmistakable fatigue in her voice, my heart felt like it was suspended in warm water. Neither rising nor sinking. What do you want? Should I handle everything? There was a moment of silence on the other end of the line. Xia, you've been working for that big boss for so long. You should have saved a bit. Right. Mom has no other way. Your dad can't get out of bed because of the pain. If your siblings can't get into college, their lives will be ruined. I have no money. I have to live and eat too. I can't give you money. What did you say? My mother's voice suddenly rose, sharp and piercing. Shengxia, I am your mother. I gave birth to you and raised you. And now that you've spread your wings and have money, you don't want to take care of the family anymore. Do you have any conscience left? It's always like this. No matter how much I give, as long as I refuse once, everything that came before will be erased. And I will become heartless and ingrate. Mom, about what I said last time. Have you calculated how much money I've spent from the family over the years? The mother's lament was suddenly cut off. Xia, what do you mean by this? Do you want to sever ties with the family? Do you think there's anything left in this family, with these relatives, that I should be nostalgic about? If you want to ask me for money, fine. Just come up with an amount, and I will pay you back in installments. From now on, I have no more ties with the family. On the other end of the line, the sound of the mother's hurried breathing was heard. You're crazy. Are you trying to drive me to death? I've raised you for over 20 years just to end up with something like this. The sound of my mother's crying and scolding came, filled with desperate anger. All right, fine. I'll calculate it for you. Starting from the first sip of milk you drank when you were born. Let's see if you can repay it in this lifetime. The cost of milk is unnecessary. I remained calm. You once said yourself that you had no milk when you gave birth to me. And that I grew up on rice soup. So let's start counting from when I entered elementary school. Tuition, textbook fees, the most basic living expenses, everything else. Like the money I earned from working starting in the 3rd year of middle school. And the student loans and part-time jobs I relied on in high school and college. We won't count. Is that clear enough? My mother seemed as if her throat had been squeezed, leaving only heavy, choked breaths. Mom. I softened my tone, but each word was clear. I am not unfilial. I just want to live like a person first. I've been too tired these years. From now on, let Shengxin and Shengwei find their own paths. As for Dad's illness, he should see a doctor and take his medicine. I can bear part of the medical expenses, but that's all. Having said that, I didn't wait for her response and hung up the phone. My fingertips were icy, but a strange, searing warmth surged in my chest, dispersing the long-held gloom. It turns out that saying no is not as difficult as I imagined. It turns out that setting boundaries feels like this, wrapped in painful clarity and relief. In the following days, I focused on my studies and the work at Zhao Lin's company. Chen Ji indeed did not give up easily. He began to appear frequently within my range of activities outside the library, downstairs of my dorm. Even on the way to my part-time job, he no longer expressed his feelings with the same enthusiasm as before, but instead wore a look of deep distress, wanting to speak yet holding back. Shengxia, can we talk? Just for 5 minutes. He stopped me, his brow furrowed, eyes filled with concern. I know your family is going through a tough time, and you're under a lot of pressure, but you can't go down the wrong path. Do you know what kind of person Zhao Lin is? People out there are very complex. What does he want in helping you? You're still young. Don't let yourself be deceived. I stopped in my tracks, looking at him coldly. Chen Ji. First, my family's matters are none of your business. Second, who I choose to associate with is my freedom. Third, if you keep harassing me like this, I will report you. Report it. Chen Ji seemed to have heard some kind of joke, and immediately switched to a heartfelt expression. Shengxia, how have you become like this? I'm doing this for your own good. You weren't like this before. Was it that Zhao Lin? Enough. I interrupted him sharply. Chen Ji, put away your tricks. Do you think if I get a second chance, I would still be foolishly bound by your kindness and jump into the fire pit like in my previous life? The expression on Chen Ji's face instantly froze, his pupils constricting sharply. Shock and disbelief were clearly written on his face, and there was even a hint of barely perceptible fear. What did you say? His voice was dry. Taking a step back. It seems I was right. Looking at his suddenly changed expression, the last shred of doubt in my heart vanished. Sure enough, he has returned as well. I know exactly what you're thinking. I stepped closer, lowered my voice, my gaze icy. Get into bed with my sister. Chen Ji, you're even more disgusting than a rat in a gutter. Chen Ji's face turned completely pale, his lips trembling. The facade of deep affection and concern vanished in an instant, leaving behind only panic at being exposed and a trace of anger mixed with embarrassment. Shengxia, you have to listen to me. What did you say? I sneered. Just looking at you has dirted my eyes. I walked past him, leaving without looking back. Behind me, Chen Ji stood frozen in place, not chasing after me again. It wasn't until May that my mother stopped calling altogether. Even Chen Ji suddenly disappeared. It seems he has also come to understand that the reborn me can no longer be involved with him in any manner. So he gave up on entangling. Jiang Mingzhu has changed her previously careless demeanor, leaving early and returning late, not revealing what she's busy with. I felt a bit anxious. She wouldn't have run into that scumbag from her previous life, would she? One night, when she returned, her eyes were red and swollen. No matter what I asked her, she wouldn't say a word, only that she wanted some peace and quiet. The next morning, she looked pale, her eyes puffy, standing by my bedside. Her entire demeanor was unusually spirited. I was startled. Dear heavens! She wouldn't have eaten something she shouldn't have. Right. Meizhu, what's wrong? Are you feeling unwell? Come on, let's go to the hospital. Jiang Meizhu sat in front of me, her eyes shining. Shengxia, let's start a business together. How about diving into the cosmetics industry you've been planning for so long? Her nonsensical words left me stunned. Jiang Mingzhu continued. You told me about it before, and you even showed me the project proposal. That's true. But why are you suddenly interested in this? What's been going on with you these days? Jiang Mingzhu's spirit suddenly fell. I met someone. Who? I felt my heart leap. He is called He Chicheng. In my mind, there was a loud boom. Wasn't he her husband from her previous life? According to her, they met in a shopping mall a year after graduation. How could it have happened in this life so soon? You two, are in a relationship. Not yet. He's pursuing me. He came to school to deliver something to his sister, and we happened to run into each other. His sister is my friend, and we've had a few meals together, and that's when he started chasing me. He's really nice to me, very attentive and gentle, taking care of me in every way. Knowing I had a headache, he braved the heavy rain to buy me medicine. He scrimped and saved to buy me the dresses I like. And he remembers my menstrual cycle, bringing me brown sugar water. Jiang Mingzhu felt a bit shy. I grabbed her arm. Mingzhu, these are just facades. Don't believe them easily. I know. Jiang Mingzhu gently held my hand. I've made it clear to him, and there won't be any contact anymore. I was utterly confused. What was going on? Why did Mingzhu take the initiative to cut ties with him? Understanding my perplexity, Jiang Mingzhu continued. I also think he's a good guy. But yesterday, I caught him with a girl who was confessing to him. He could have just rejected her, but instead, he said her face was covered in acne, looking like a rotten orange, and that her legs were short and thick. He made that poor girl cry right there. Jiang Mingzhu curled her lip. Her eyes filled with unabashed disdain. He even said, if a girl can't even handle her face, who would like her? Shengxia. The words you told me that day in the library suddenly popped into my mind. You should look for someone who is fundamentally a good person. He may be good to me, but his mean and arrogant demeanor towards others is just infuriating. I rushed out immediately and berated him furiously. Every shred of emotion is exceedingly precious. What kind of scoundrel dares to humiliate others like this? The massive stone in my heart fell to the ground with a thud. But I'm still very sad. I really liked him. Just as I was thinking of comforting her, Jiang Mingzhu patted my shoulder and looked at me intently. Shengxia, after graduation, let's become partners. I have the money, and you have the ideas. Let's collaborate. I hope every girl can be beautiful and happy. She reached out her hand to me, her red, swollen eyes bright and confident. I smiled slowly and grasped her hand in return. It's a pleasure to work with you, Miss Jiang. In mid-June, Sheng Wei came to me and said that his mother was hospitalized. I felt a pang of anxiety. This time it was a month earlier than the last life. Hurriedly arriving at the hospital, my mother was wiping away her tears. No, this surgery is too expensive. I won't have the treatment. Sheng Xian stood by the bed, and when she saw me enter, her expression flickered with complexity, carrying a hint of barely perceptible hostility, and then quickly looked down. Sister, you're here. My mother raised her eyes, which were bloodshot, and when she saw me, it was as though she had grasped a lifeline. Her cries grew heavier. Xia xia, the doctor said we need the surgery, but the operation costs are so high. How can we afford it at home? Your father said he would borrow money, but we haven't been able to reach him. What do we do now? He won't come back. You've been with him for so many years. You should understand him better than I do. Weak and incompetent. He's good at hiding away and shirking responsibilities while living off others. When there's trouble, he runs faster than anyone. He's afraid you'll drag him down, so he's deliberately hiding away. The sound of her mother's cries abruptly ceased. Her face drained of color, leaving only a pallor of complete abandonment. Sheng Xian suddenly looked up, her voice piercing as she exclaimed, Sister, how can you say that about Dad? I'm speaking the truth. If you don't believe me, go find him and ask. A lump caught in Sheng Xian's throat, her face a mix of green and white. I approached the bedside and looked at the medical record. What did the doctor say? When's the surgery? Sheng Wei huddled in the corner, muttering. The doctor said the sooner the better, but with the surgery fees and the medications for hospitalization, it'll cost over 10,000. There's not a penny left at home. I have the money. I pulled an envelope from my bag. My mother looked at the envelope in disbelief, then at me, tears streaming down her face, her eyes a mix of shame, shock, and a complex, indescribable pain. Summer, where did you get so much money? I earned it myself. My tone was flat. Mom, this money is for your treatment, so use it without worry. But I need to make something clear. I looked at my frail mother in the hospital bed and my siblings beside her. Their expressions varied. I spoke each word carefully. This money is my last substantial expenditure stemming from our family bond. From now on, Shengxin, Sheng Wei, you are responsible for your own lives. I will not be contributing a single cent for your tuition, living expenses, or for buying houses when you get married. Shengxin's face turned red. Sister, what do you mean by this? Mom is still sick, and you're in such a hurry to cut ties. I'm not distancing myself. I'm setting boundaries. I met her gaze. Mom brought me into this world, so I will take care of her when she's sick. But you're all adults now. I will cover the surgery costs, but for postoperative care, you can take turns. If you think that's unfair, then I'll take the money back right now, and you can figure it out yourselves. Sheng Wei panicked. No, sister, we'll take care of her. We definitely will. Sheng Xian bit her lip. Her eyes filled with anger. Yet she didn't dare to say anything more. She knew that apart from me, no one else at home could come up with that amount of money. Her mother was in tears, reaching out to pull me close, her fingertips trembling. Xia xia. Mom is sorry for you. I avoided her hand. Just focus on your treatment. I'll go pay the bill. The surgery went very well for my mother. When she woke up, she held my hand and said, Xia xia, I'm sorry for dragging you down. And your younger siblings. The way they spoke to you last time was not meant to hurt. I apologize on their behalf. Please, don't be angry anymore. I let go of her hand. Mom, when parents are unkind, children are discordant. They bully me because you and Dad don't regard me as important. Mother stood frozen in place. Xia. All right, take care of yourself. I'm leaving. A few days later, Father appeared in the hospital. Sheng Wei dodged my gaze. I knew it was him who had leaked the information. My mother swung her arm and slapped my father across the face. You ungrateful old man. From now on, I won't take care of you anymore. If you want to eat or drink, you can do it yourself. Father's eyes turned red with anger as he raised his hand and charged forward. He was forcefully stopped by Sheng Xian and Sheng Wei. The four of them were in a tangle, and I lost interest in this farce, turning away to leave. After graduation, Jiang Mingzhu and I embarked on an ambitious entrepreneurial venture. Jiang Mingzhu came from a wealthy family, and she pulled out her New Year's money and the pocket money she had saved since childhood, along with a sum of sponsorship from her parents. We rented a small office space and established a tiny studio. After learning about it, Zhao Lin voluntarily took on the role of assistant, picking us up and dropping us off from work, delivering meals and fruits, and even sometimes helping organize materials and cleaning. Jiang Mingzhu often teased, TSK, cousin, if your company employees saw you like this as a virtuous helper, their eyes would pop out. Zhao Lin was bending over to help me organize a stack of product information. Without lifting his head, he casually remarked, in the initial stage, logistical support is very important. I hope Boss Sheng can focus on his work and achieve success, so that I can truly become a capable assistant. I felt my face flush, turning my head to meet his clear, smiling eyes, my heart heating up. Mr. Zhao won't have to wait too long. This time, it was his turn to blush. Mingzhu, with her mouth stuffed with an orange, laughed heartily, relying on the experience accumulated from my past life and my familiarity with the market. We developed rapidly. A year later, the studio had already expanded into a company of considerable scale. In the following days, time flew by, and before I knew it, 5 years had passed. In those 5 years, aside from sending my mother living expenses on time, I didn't go back at all. One noon, Sheng Xian called me, her cries wrenching my heart. Sister, I beg you. I'm sorry, please help me. I can't go on like this. Chen Ji. That bastard deceived me. Dad wants to kill me. Rubbing my temples, I put down what I was doing and decided to go back. Zhao Lin, worried about me going back alone, sent my little daughter, who was just over a year old, to my aunt's house. Jiang Mingzhu looked at the 3 large bags of luggage, her mouth twitching. My cousin and his wife. Are you going out for just a few days? Not for weeks or months. Do you really need to prepare this much for Chu Chu? What do you know as a single person? Zhao Lin touched his daughter's soft and tender little face, carefully checking the comforting toys and her usual small blanket in the bag. At first, I couldn't adapt to the unfamiliar environment, so I brought some of her usual belongings to cover myself. Feeling a sense of security, Jiang Mingzhu rolled her eyes dramatically and turned to me with a playful expression. Look at him. Where's the semblance of a CEO of a public company? He's just a total daughter's slave and wife's slave. I smiled, warmth blooming in my heart. In these past few years, Zhao Lin, with his subtle gentleness and unwavering determination, gradually soothed the wounds of my past life and the anxieties of this life. We got married and had a daughter, whom he named Xiao Yichu. He said that Zhao Lin and Sheng Xia's friendship would always remain as it began. Those cold and despairing memories really became a distant and blurry nightmare. On the way back, Sheng Xian lay on the bed, her face as pale as a ghost. Father was pointing at her nose, scolding, "You shameless thing. You cheap whore pushing yourself forward. Even that Chen doesn't want you, and you still crawl into his bed, having had 3 children without learning your lesson. Well, now this is it. You won't be able to have any more." I'll beat you to death. You shameless. As he said this, he looked around for a stick. Mother hurriedly stepped forward to stop him. But she was no match for father. Xiao Wei, quickly hold back your dad. He's going to kill your sister. Sheng Wei stood to the side, motionless. Mom, she did something like this. The whole village knows about it. I can't even face anyone. It would be better to let dad just kill me cleanly. Mother and Sheng Xian stared wide-eyed in disbelief. Is this the son brother they have cherished and protected? Dad, I called out. Seeing me, my father's movements froze in midair. His face turning red, he directed his pent-up anger towards me. You still know how to come back. What are you here for? To see a joke? My mother seemed to have grasped a lifeline, stumbling over to grab my hand, tears streaming down her face. Xia. You're back. Look at this. What kind of sin has been wrought here? Sheng Xian curled up on the bed, the blanket pulled up to her chin, revealing only a pair of swollen, hollow eyes filled with fear and despair. What on earth is going on? Are you with Chen Ji? Upon hearing that name, Sheng Xian trembled violently. Tears streamed silently down her face. Yet she bit her lip tightly, not making a sound. Her mother cried. That heartless bastard. He has deceived Xian for so many years, emptied her savings, and even kept several mistresses outside. Xian has lost 3 children for him. And now the doctor said her uterus has been damaged too severely, and she won't be able to conceive again. That jerk knew Xian couldn't bear children anymore, and he turned around and registered a marriage with a young girl. He even stole the last of Xian's jewelry. Xian went to confront him, and he beat her up. Your father thought it was shameful. So, mother was weeping uncontrollably. It was from my mother's words that I learned that when he came to our home back then. Sheng Xian had already been touched. Later, Chen Ji stopped pursuing me. As it turned out, he had gotten involved with Sheng Xian. For him, Sheng Xian dropped out of school and followed him to the south for work. Until a few days ago, Chen Ji got into trouble over there. And the two of them sneaked back. Sheng Xing found out she was pregnant again, and she forced Chen Ji to marry her. Chen Ji was unwilling and knocked her down to the ground, causing her to bleed profusely. The doctor said she could no longer have children. Chen Ji then stole her jewelry and married someone else. I closed my eyes. In her past life, Sheng Xian climbed onto Chen Ji's bed. And not long after I discovered it, Chen Ji dumped her. In this life, without my intervention, they are openly entangled together. But the outcome is even more tragic. The cycle of cause and effect. Retribution is relentless. Did you call the police? I asked. The room fell silent for a moment. My father held his neck stiffly. What are you calling the police for? Isn't it embarrassing enough already? Embarrassing. I looked at him, my gaze sharp. Chen Ji deceived for money and sex. Intentionally harmed others. Stole. Which of these isn't enough to put him behind bars? Sheng Xian is the victim. The one who should feel embarrassed is Chen Ji. It's you as parents for failing to protect your daughter. And it's Sheng Wei, the brother, who stood by coldly and even added to her troubles. Sheng Xian. You tell Miss Hold we call the police. Report. Her hoarse voice rasped like sandpaper against wood. Sister, help me. I want him to go to jail. In the following days, I accompanied Sheng Xian to the police station, taking statements and organizing evidence. The police found jewelry belonging to Sheng Xian that he hadn't had the chance to sell, as well as some appalling photos of her, and even evidence of his scams and involvement in pyramid schemes. Zhao Lin hired the best lawyer. And Chen Ji was locked up. He howled like a mad dog. Zhao Lin, you bastard. If it weren't for the threats, why would I go south? How could I have ended up in this state today? Sheng Xian, you wretched woman. You're nothing but a worthless piece of trash that no one wants. You deserve to be childless. Ha 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 ha. Crazy. I spat out the 2 words coldly. Once everything was settled, my mother suddenly aged a lot. She covered her face, sobbing. Thanks to you, Xia. I was wrong to you in the past. Can you not be angry with me anymore? Let's live well together. I sighed, feeling a mix of bitterness and heartache inside. Mom, some cracks can't be repaired. There are too many things between us. Let's leave it like this, keeping a distance and wishing each other well. In the future, I will send you an allowance every month. This money is just for you. How you spend it is your business. Aside from that, let's stay in touch less. Mother opened her mouth, but in the end, she simply covered her face and began to cry aloud. On the day she left, Sheng Xian gave me a segment. She was so thin that she looked deformed, her cheeks sunken. Sister, she said in a husky voice. Thank you, Anne. I'm sorry. This I'm sorry was 2 lifetimes late. What are you planning to do in the future? I asked. When I'm better, I'll go out to work. Sheng Xian looked into the distance. I want to go south. Far away from here. Don't worry. I won't go astray again. She paused for a moment, her voice even lower. Sister, in the past, I was too immature, too selfish, always competing with you, thinking that Mom, Dad, and our brother should all revolve around me. Looking back now, I realize what I owe you can never be repaid in this lifetime. I patted her head, saying nothing. Before the car started, I took a thick envelope from my bag and handed it to her. Take this for your travel expenses and starting funds. Remember, this is the last time. The road ahead. You must walk on your own. Sheng Xing clutched the envelope, her fingertips turning white, tears streaming down her face in large drops. Sister, take care. The car gradually moved away, leaving behind the old past filled with pain and tears far behind. Zhao Lin held my hand. Is everything taken care of? Yeah. I leaned against his shoulder, letting out a long sigh and unloading the heavy stone I had carried for years. It's all good now. He gently wrapped his arms around me. Let's go home and see Chu Chu. She must be missing us. I nodded slightly and smiled brightly at him. I didn't ask him about how he dealt with Chen Ji back then. It was likely that he had some leverage that forced him out. After Sheng Xian settled down, she called me to let me know she was safe. She said that her mother had also gone south to work, as she couldn't stand being in that house for even a day. Sheng Wei and his dad made a huge fuss at home. The two of them got into several fights, and Mom didn't leave them a single penny. So they nearly went hungry and had to go out and find work. I urged her, take good care of yourself. Yeah, sis. You too. Another year passed from winter to spring. Our studio has grown into a highly influential domestic beauty brand. My partner Jiang Mingzhu and I have become the talk of the industry. Known as the Twin Stars, Jiang Mingzhu is decisive in the market, with a keen eye. She is no longer the innocent and carefree girl she once was, and she has finally met someone great on her bright and glamorous path ahead. The person was an engineer named Zhou Yiming, whom she met while donating to an impoverished mountain area. We met once, and I found him to be meticulous and rigid, completely at odds with Mingzhu's personality. It wasn't until one day I saw him picking Mingzhu up from work. Jiang Mingzhu rushed out of the elevator in 10-centimeter heels, her hands clutching half a sandwich. While walking, he roared into the phone. What? The color discrepancy at the factory is wrong again. Have them readjust. If it's not fixed, this quarter's bonus will be deducted. Zhou Yiming stood quietly in the hall, holding a pink thermos. Upon seeing her come out, he immediately went to greet her. As soon as Jiang Mingzhu saw him, the fierce look on her face instantly faded, though her brows were still furrowed. Why are you here again? Didn't you say the meeting would go on until late today? Zhou Yiming didn't say a word. He simply opened the thermos and handed it over, releasing the sweet fragrance of red dates and goji berries. Drink some. You said your throat hurts this morning. Jiang Mingzhu took a sip, her frown easing a bit, but she retorted, it's so annoying. I'm not a child. Zhou Yiming took her bag and then pulled out a pair of pink, fluffy indoor slippers with rabbit ears from his canvas bag, which was printed with the logo of XX Research Institute. Change your shoes. He squatted down, placing the slippers at Jiang Mingzhu's feet. Your shoes have too high a heel, which is bad for your ankles and lumbar spine. I looked it up in the literature. Long-term wear can lead to. Alright, I got it, Dr. Zhou. Jiang Mingzhu felt a bit embarrassed. Quickly kicked off her high heels and slipped into her slippers. The pink bunny ears trembled with her movements, creating a stunning contrast against her sharp professional suit. I hid behind a pillar, struggling to suppress my laughter to the point of stomach pain. Zhou Yiming stood up and looked closely at her face. Didn't you have lunch again? I ate a sandwich. Jiang Mingzhu shook the pathetic half of a sandwich in her hand. Zhou Yiming's brow immediately furrowed, as if he were dealing with an experimental subject that was not following the protocol. He magically pulled out a lunchbox from his canvas bag. I brought you spare rib and lotus root soup and multigrain rice. Still warm. Let's eat it before heading back. Jiang Mingzhu finally could no longer hold it in. The corners of her mouth twitched up, but she quickly pressed them down and said fiercely, "Let's go. To my office." Zhou Yiming picked up the lunchbox and her bag, turned, and walked toward the elevator with a steady stride. His posture tall and upright. His serious demeanor resembled someone on a mission for a national-level scientific research task rather than just delivering food. Jiang Mingzhu followed closely behind him, took a few steps, and suddenly turned around, precisely spotting me hiding behind a pillar. She made a funny face at me and silently mouthed, "What are you looking at?" I stepped out with a smile and gave her a thumbs up, watching Zhou Yiming meticulously press the elevator button. The door opened, and he stepped aside to let Jiang Mingzhu enter before following her in. In that split second of turning around, he even reached out to lightly support her arm, concerned about her stability in slippers. The elevator doors slowly closed, and the last image reflected was Jiang Mingzhu looking up as she said something to him, while he slightly lowered his head to listen, the lines of his profile appearing particularly gentle under the light. Where is the stiffness? It is clearly meticulous and precise. A different kind of romance. Later, I asked Jiang Mingzhu what exactly she saw in him. Jiang Mingzhu swirled her wine glass, a tipsy smile on her face. "Shengxia, do you know, there was this one time we went hiking, and my shoelaces came undone." He squatted down to tie them for me. After he finished and looked up, he seriously said to me, "According to the principles of mechanics and your gait, this way of tying is the least likely to come undone and doesn't compress the blood vessels on the top of your foot." I almost died laughing back then. Her eyes sparkled. But later, every time my shoelaces came undone, he would squat down and retie them for me using that most scientific method. He didn't say sweet words, but he treated my health and my comfort as important topics to study, putting in the same effort as if he were conducting an experiment to take care of me. That's way more substantial than 1,000 "I love yous," she concluded, her tone more grounded than ever. Yes, some people express their love with words, while others demonstrate it through actions. Zhao Lin is one of the latter, and so is Zhou Yiming. I looked up and saw Zhao Lin waiting at the door, holding his daughter, and a smile crept across my face. In this new life, midsummer finally bore the fruits of midsummer. Jiang Mingzhu became a truly radiant pearl.